Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's edition of a live commentary live stream this afternoon for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as they are about to go racing at the Atlanta Motor Speedway Super Speedway Edition in 2023 for the running of the Fr8 208. And first of two live commentary streams today, a doubleheader for the NASCAR Truck and Xfinity Series. The Xfinity Series coverage will begin at about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They've already gotten the command to fire engines for this one, so we'll go through the starting lineup here quickly as we're just minutes away from the drop of the green flag for today's Gander. I said Gander because it says Gander Outdoor Truck Series on our screen. But the Craftsman Truck Series race, this is their third race of the season. They have had a week off in between their second race and race number 3, just as they did after Daytona. But they are going to be running back-to-back races here because they will be at COTA next Saturday as well. So doubleheader this weekend for the Truck and the Xfinity Series and a doubleheader next weekend as well. Starting lineup for today, based off of qualifying being rained out as well as practice yesterday afternoon, has Zane Smith on the front row, and he'll be starting on the pole for today's race. Ty Majeski will be on the outside of the front row, and remember, Zane Smith won the season opener on a super speedway at Daytona, so looking to win the next super speedway race here today. Ben Rhodes and Christian Eckes will line up in row number 2. Row number 3 is going to be Carson Hocevar and Corey Heim. Grant Enfinger and Matt Crafton back in row 4. Chase Purdy, Matt DiBenedetto in row 5. DiBenedetto won at Talladega on a super speedway last year for the Truck Series. Tanner Gray and Jake Garcia will be in row 6. Tyler Ankrum and Stuart Friesen in row 7. Colby Howard and Dean Thompson will line up in row number 8. Jack Wood, Timmy Hill in row 9. Daniel Dye, Nick Sanchez, a couple rookies rounding out the top 20 in row number 10. Lawless Allen and Raja Caruth in row 11. Lane Riggs making his first start of the season for that number 1 truck. And his teammate for today, John Hunter Nemechek, will be on the outside of him in row number 12. Chris Wright and Mason Massey will be in row number 13. Row 14 will be Spencer Boyd, Josh Reaume. Caden Honeycutt and Bailey Curry in row 15. Mason Maggio and Haley Deegan back in row 16. Row 17, Brett Holmes and Akinori Ogata, I believe that's his last name. 17, that'll be row 17. Row 18 behind those guys rounding out the field will be Ryan Vargas and Keith McGee. So that is the starting lineup for today's race. The race is on Fox Sports 1 once again today, for those of you wondering as well. And be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll look to get at 100 likes for this first live commentary stream of the day and of the race weekend at Atlanta. All 3 series here as mentioned. Kenneth Clark, Wade Selinsky, Patty Rumdy Creations, Billy Kramer. Welcome into the stream. First in the chat, everybody.
Feel for you with
queuing up Corey Heim, I believe.
Bandos and legend cars right here on the front stretch. Tell me what that race last year meant for you.
Yeah, it really meant a lot just to be in front of my family and friends, and of course my home track at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Grew up about an hour away from here. It's super cool. So super cool to be back, and I want to go back to back for sure.
All right, buddy. We know you've got a good truck. You know how to get it done. Have a good race.
Appreciate it. Huge thanks to Tricon Shoulder Racing. Safe flight. Ready to go.
Squeezed them all in there.
You guys see that number 11 when he was a kid?
Yeah.
It's because he was a Denny Hamlin fan.
Oh, really?
Yes. So he was number 11 all the way up, and now he's reunited randomly in 11 again.
And you know what's great? Denny's pretty old then, right? He's inspiration for guys to have
You
their
said
number.
it, I didn't. As you see the last 3 National Series winners here at Atlanta, they all came from Georgia. You saw Austin Hill got the Xfinity Series win. Of course, Chase Elliott on his home track as well.
Yeah, so important here, this pit road speed, because they've added like 2,500 feet of pit road. Let's take a look at our track description. Michael, these numbers don't really say it.
That's the love child right there, a mile and a half in length. But I'm telling you, Phil, you called it. The biggest thing is, too, the rules changed dramatically. These are Daytona Talladega rules for the drafting track. As you see, the differences in the track. Look at this. It was 24 degrees, and now it's 28, and just look how different things are. It's much narrower, which makes it much more difficult to go 3 wide, but they still squeeze in there.
They still try to do it, for sure. Sometimes not with not much success.
It's so interesting how it's become a drafting track, and that means it's great for some, not so good for others, right?
Well, the guy that was on the pole at Daytona was Nick Sanchez, so it's got to be pretty good for him. Let's see if we can give him a call. Hey,
Dialing up Nick
Michael
Sanchez
Waltrip
as
and the
well.
Fox team. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Pit road. Segment 1 was 49.0. That was good. And then you were like 48.2, 47.
Talking to his crew chief right now.
48.4, 47.5, 47.8.
We'll break this down in a bit, Jamie. As soon as he digests it all, we'll tell
Dave
you what.
Stockman gets done telling him.
Tell you what he meant. Hope I didn't interrupt there, buddy. Did you hear everything? You were 49.0, 47.8. You sound like the auctioneer at the start of the race. I just want to know, what's your mindset right now? You started Daytona right up front. Now you're back in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, it's definitely different, but I feel like it's going to be a good experience for me. You know, I've only ever started a truck race on the front row, so sometimes I feel like you got to come back here and you have to learn the hard way. You have to learn patience, and I feel like that's something I'm going to learn today, and I feel like that's something I've relaxed in the first 2 races.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch, buddy. We'll be pulling for you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, we have 2 pit reporters covering all the action for you today, Jamie Howe and Amanda Busick. Hello, Jamie, you're up first.
Hello. In those 18 lead changes that we saw here last year, Ty Majeski was one of the 10 drivers who was able to lead the field before settling in for that 3rd place finish. But with qualifying rained out yesterday, he said that experience last year is at a premium. One of the things that he learned was how important track position is going to be today and how important it is to execute on the restarts. He said his team is so prepared for this race. They've done all of the homework that they could possibly do. As long as they can stay mistake-free, he likes his chances today. Amanda?
Jamie pole sitter Zane Smith finished 5th here last season. He wants to use that experience to be aggressive early on here in order to get those crucial stage 1 points. Also wants to focus on track position to make sure he's a player at the end of this race. The biggest challenge for Zane is going to be his lack of teammates. I asked him, well, who likes you out here? And he said, well, I'm not sure anyone does. The fellow Ford should technically be a help for Zane, but he said he can't count on that either. The reigning champ knows his hands are going to be full to have some success here today.
Thank you, ladies. Stay warm down there today.
Yeah, let's take a look at our race analysis. These are the numbers. You see the stage.
So they will be going green this time by, looks like the lights are out on the pace truck, 135 laps. Very short race today. 208 miles is the distance. 30 laps in both Stage 1 and Stage 2, so no pit stops required there. And then the final stage will be 75 laps, where they will likely have to make a pit stop because the pit window is only 55 to 60 laps for fuel purposes for the Truck Series today. A rule change for the Atlanta Motor Speedway this year, moving the entrance to pit road to the entrance of Turn 3. In case there's any green flag pit stops, we'll see if that will be the case when the final stage comes. Zane Smith on the front row and will lead the field to the green, elects the inside lane. He'll get a push from behind, signaling to Ben Rhodes. Green flag is in the air, and our first race of the day is underway at Atlanta. 98 of Ty Majeski getting a shot from the 19 on the outside from behind him. That's Christian Eckes, his former teammate. And both trucks will be clear in first and second place off the exit of Turn 2. Down the back, they continue to lock bumpers, and now the 19 will move up to the outside going into Turn 3, trying to take the lead. Top 2 trucks are about 5 truck lengths ahead of third and fourth place, who are side by side off the exit of Turn 4. It's going to give everybody else a major run. Little contact further back in the pack off Turn 4 where the 20 truck ended up getting into the outside wall. It was Mason Maggio. Still side by side for the lead, though, and as they get that giant run from behind as predicted, they're not going to have anywhere to go with them being side by side, so that will work out. They're going to hang out the 98 of Majeski on the bottom lane, and Christian Eckes will have the lead into Turn 3 with Zane Smith clear for second and Grant Enfinger down to the outside of the 98 truck for third. Christian Eckes at the start-finish line will lead lap number 2, just as he did the opening lap of the race as well. Accordion line on the outside with just about 3 or 4 trucks in that lead pack down on the bottom, so they are losing numbers very quickly. Truck Series had 1 race here at this Atlanta configuration last season, 1 race again this year in the spring. Corey Heim won that one. Currently, Heim is in the 7th place position after starting in the top 10. Matt DiBenedetto up 5 spots from the get-go from 10th to 5th. And Matt Craftsman also started in the back half of the top 10, is now up to 4th place. Pretty much that entire outside lane from the start pretty much vaulted towards the front. Everybody who started on the bottom started to go backwards with the exception of Zane Smith, who was able to get in line quickly on the top after the top two had cleared him initially. Majeski has fallen back to 6th place before he was able to get into the outside line behind De Benedetto and in front of Carson Hocevar. Jake Garcia up to 8th place. And Ben Rhodes, who started on the inside of row 2, is back to 9th. Corey Heim falling outside of the top 10 now for a brief moment. But single file all the way through 1 and 2. Again, no practice or qualifying for the truck in the Xfinity Series. So if they do have to make a pit stop at all in that final stage under green flag conditions, knowing that they don't have any sort of practice trying to get to pit road with this new pit road at Atlanta, it's going to be very, very difficult, I'm sure, for these drivers. And we might see some speeding penalties coming with that, I'd have to assume. A clean start so far. Still 3 trucks down on the bottom. And I believe one of those trucks that got held up in there was Fr8. And he's still on the bottom lane, outside the top 10 and 13th currently. Raja Karuth, who started 24th, up to 15th already, probably the biggest mover in the field. And it looks as if the front roughly 23 trucks in the lead pack. And then everybody else, Caden Honeycutt all by himself right now, but then 25th on back, staying away from the pack. Shouldn't have to worry about lap traffic in stage 1 as long as you can stay in the draft. And that 20 truck that got into the wall on lap 1, turn 4, Mason Maggio, is now 4 laps down, so he had to come onto pit road and maybe in the garage right now. Keith McGee also a couple laps down all of a sudden. Maybe dropping out of the race as well. Commercial break here for Fox, just a handful of laps in. Lap 8 of 30 in stage 1. Christian Eckes is your race leader. Zane Smith in 2nd. Grant Enfinger is 3rd. Matt Kraft in 4th. Matt DiBenedetto is in 5th. Ty Majeski 6th. Carson Hocevar in 7th. Jake Garcia 8th. Ben Rhodes 9th. And Chase Purdy rounds out the top 10. Dean Thompson in 11th place. Stuart Friesen in 12th. Corey Heim in 13th, Lane Riggs up to 14th, Raja Karuth 15th, John Hunter Nemechek in 16th, Tanner Gray 17th, Nick Sanchez 18th, Tyler Anker 19th, and Lawless Allen is 20th. Colby Howard in 21st, Jack Wood 22nd, 23rd is Bailey Curry, Caden Honeycutt 24th, Timmy Hill 25th. Chris Wright in 26th place, Brett Holmes 27th, Ryan Vargas 28th, Daniel Dye 29th, Mason Massey 30th, Haley Deegan in 31st. 32nd is Spencer Boyd. Akadori Ogata in 33rd. Josh Ryud 34th. Then Keith McGee and Mason Maggio both out of the race already. 35th, 36th. But we are caution free through 10 laps. And Eckes has led them all so far. After starting in the 4th place position, he was still able to lead lap 1 and every lap beyond that thus far. Terry Lewis, welcome into the stream. Seth Thomas, welcome in as well. Again, hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Just over 40 people watching in the very early going of this race. Still 125 laps to go, but it is a short race for the Truck Series. 208 miles. That is the shortest of the 3 super speedway races for them this season. Talladega and Daytona races both 250 miles in length. This race is going to fly by. And then only 250 miles scheduled for the Xfinity race later today as well. But these 2 races combined longer than the Cup race tomorrow, which is also shortened in length from last year where the Spring Atlanta race was 500 miles on the super speedway. This year it will be 400 for both races. Back from the commercial break, it is a single file line pretty much all the way through that lead pack now. Just a couple trucks down on the bottom lane further back, and that would be John Hunter Nemechek and Tyler Ankerman, it appears. You definitely went straight backwards. Big moment for the 45 during the commercial break of Lawless Allen as he got really loose right in front of the 9 towards the tail end of that lead pack. Made a great save. Might have gotten a piece of the wall off the exit of turn 2 as well. Tough to tell for sure. But everybody being patient for right now. It'll be interesting who will pull out of line before the end of this stage as the laps continue to quickly click by. Running lap times of about 31 seconds right now. No changes of position. It appears inside the top 10 from the commercial break now to the other side of it where we're racing.
It wants to be a little bit tight at times. We obviously saw with Lawless Allen that there was no tight there, and he was back in the pack. But the trucks that aren't handling well, they just seem to get magnified the more trucks they're behind. Tanner Grage stuck down on the bottom. Stuart Friesen led the most laps here a year ago, Phil.
Yeah, he started to try to run the bottom earlier and really wasn't able to get anywhere. The problem with running the bottom is you have to be able to get in line somewhere.
35 at Jake Garcia. Ooh, he has a moment.
Man, he created that moment by getting in the back of Carson Hocevar, it looked like, in the 42.
Jake Garcia, 18 years old, learning as he goes, and Carson Hocevar says, I don't want you learning at the price of me.
Well, Jake Garcia, we talked a lot about him in Las Vegas, had a great run, a top 10 there, but I saw him in the garage yesterday. He said, I have never raced anything like this. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm leaning on my teammates, and his great teammates leading the race right now.
And that was a mile and a half, Las Vegas, a couple weeks ago, right? Nothing like it here. This is a way, way different. As Michael said, it's the love child.
You know, when they reconfigured Phoenix, it still races about it. Like it's different, but it's still a downforce track. And so Kevin Harvick was really good there before, and he still is. But I bet you Kevin Harvick will be really good here, but it's going to be nothing like Atlanta. He used to be.
He was really good then, too.
Yeah, he had his own turn called after him, the Harvick move off turn 4.
See a good shot of it there on the inside, on the bottom of the racetrack. You've got that double white and red line. That is a no-no. If you go beyond that, below it, I should say, and try to make a pass, that's a penalty.
You'll be coming to the pits, and if you force someone down there in NASCAR's eyes, they can bring you in as well. So that could be a part of the game come late in this race as we see the 43 truck of Daniel Dye going a lap down.
From the very start, he didn't look like he was up to pace for whatever reason.
You think he's got a problem with his something under the hood of the shopdanielDye.com? Great hair products on that website out here.
He's got great hair. Boris said hair. If you're a said head out there, you know what I mean. But yeah, certainly off the pace.
That's disappointing. He didn't get to learn anything right from the go. Maybe lose just as one lap here, Phil, and can get to the pits and see what they can diagnose under the hood.
Maybe a chance that we're only 12 laps away from the stage end. Maybe he can stay on the lead lap or get his lap back on the free pass.
Daniel Dye is just his third career start.
Fox cut into another commercial break here, lap number 19. When they come back, we'll probably have anywhere between, if I had to guess, 6 to 8 laps to go in stage number 1. Christian Eckes, again, still your race leader. Zane Smith in second place right now, right on his back bumper. Grant Enfinger in third. Matt Crafton in fourth place, and Matt DiBenedetto rounds out the top 5. Brett Whitesides, thanks for tuning in. Like John Hunter, rooting for sentimental favorite Matt DiBenedetto. Yeah, it's a good pick. I mean, he could bring it home. This one would lock him a spot in the playoffs. We'll take a look during this commercial break at the Truck Series point standings through the first 2 races, means they had a week off last week. Pull it up right here. So 2 races in. Of course, Zane Smith got that win back at Daytona to start the year. And pretty much hasn't looked backwards ever since. He is still the points leader. Only 2 points, though, ahead of Ty Majeski. And only 25 laps led for Zane Smith through 2 races so far this season. Kyle Busch dominated the Las Vegas race. Ended up winning that one. Obviously, Busch running full-time for points in the Cup Series, not the Truck Series, but that was his first of 5 starts in the Truck season. So only 1 driver of 10 possible are locked into the playoffs with 14 races to go yet in the regular season for the Trucks. And obviously, the point standings will be tight pretty early in the season, but some drivers that aren't off to such a good start in the Truck Series. You got Nick Sanchez, rookie for KBM, back in 16th in points right now. Stuart Friesen, 15th in points, pretty deep in the field. Derek Kraus did not run the second race. I think he only ran Daytona. Haley Deegan pretty far back in points, 31st right now. I think 2 DNFs in the first 2 races, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So definitely looking for those drivers to try to make some headway forward through the field and maybe make a push for the playoffs this season as well. They're back from the commercial break as of right now. 7 laps to go. It's stage 1, and we have a crash at the front of the field. 2 trucks got tangled in the center of the quad oval, and it looked like it was the one. And I couldn't tell who else it was. Lane Riggs in the one truck making his first start of the season. Tough break there as he ended up kind of getting T-boned into the outside wall right in the middle of the front stretch. And I believe it was his teammate, the 15 right behind him, that had gotten into him. Tough break for those 2 trucks. Left rear tire came up off the ground for Lane Riggs. Luckily that truck stayed down on all 4. Both left side tires came up off the ground. A lot of air got underneath it. Wild ride for Lane Riggs. The 15 truck of Tanner Gray tried to make a move to the outside, and Riggs ended up just kind of coming up in front of him. It didn't look like there was a lot of room to go to the outside, especially in that awkward area of the racetrack where there's a couple kinks on the front stretch. I don't even know if that was going to work from Tanner Gray, and obviously it ended up not working, but even if there wasn't any contact there with Riggs bobbling, and I don't even really know if it was Riggs that moved up or if it was a 15 that moved into a spot that wasn't really open. Probably a little bit of both, causing that 2-truck accident with about 7 laps to go in the stage. If the cleanup is quick enough, we should get a restart in before the end of stage 1, and it will be a crazy one at that with the stage points on the line here shortly. May see some drivers potentially hit pit road as well. You may be able to make it on fuel through the first 2 stages without having to pit during the stage break, so that could come into play also, especially with the more caution laps we get. We know we're going to have a stage break coming up soon, and if we get a restart in here, that's going to be a lot of caution laps for these guys. Dale Campbell, Tristan Games, Sports Highlights Every Day, 1082, Ice Demon King 92, Hammer, thanks for tuning in. He did get a little bit of air. That's one thing I've noticed in recent years. Whenever we've seen flips or blowovers in any of the top 3 series, it seems to be when another car or cars are packed in behind a truck or a car that is sideways and the air easily takes off underneath it. Saw that with Harrison Burton with the next-gen car in the Daytona 500 last year. We've seen that obviously in the truck series in the past before, and even this year as recent as Sam Mayer back at Daytona. Robbie Crawford, welcome into the stream also. Got 70 people watching. Again, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. Goal is to get to 100 likes on this stream today. And don't forget, we will be going live later today as well for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, as they will be racing at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, also at Atlanta this weekend. Triple header at Atlanta for all 3 series, but a double header specifically today with the truck and the Xfinity Series. And next Saturday, the plan is right now to be doing live commentary streams for both the truck and the Xfinity Series on Saturday. For COTA, I will be at the Cup race on Sunday, so no live commentary on Sunday for the COTA race. I will be at the track that day, but the plan as of right now is to still have commentary the day before for the truck and the Xfinity Series on the channel. So just be on the lookout on that on the community tab throughout the course of the week. I'll know for sure the closer we get to race day, but that is the plan as of right now. Carson Hocevar coming into the pits, leading John Hunter Nemechek, Corey Heim, and a few others. Nick Sanchez is in also.
For balance in the car, but he talks about competition he's going to face today, and he said it's going to be the guys, the veterans, the Matt DiBenedettos and the Matt Crafton. As you move on to the 88 of Matt Crafton, he's having balance issues in the center of the truck. Says when he gets into the tracks of the truck in front of him, he doesn't have much grip. Imagine they're going to be adjusted tire pressures to search for that. Jamie?
Well, as we look down pit lane, Grant Enfinger brought that number 23 in, or was planning to bring number 23, and they actually just made the decision to stay on out. He said visibility is one of the things that they're looking for with 4 laps to go in this stage. He said it's really dusty out there.
It's going to put those trucks further back in traffic. Most of them were already back outside the top 15. I do think Carson Hocevar was the only truck that was actually in the top 10 that pitted, so he'll be sacrificing any sort of a shot at stage points here And it'll be very interesting to see if we do get a restart in here before the end of the stage. If we do, I think we're only going to have 1 lap. Maybe 2. Yeah, they're taking another look at that crash between Lane Riggs and Tanner Gray, and it just kind of looked like the 15 moved up into the outside lane, and there wasn't really a hole there. The one might have came up a little bit, but a lot of that, too, is just the way the front stretch is shaped with the 2 kinks. And Riggs could have been coming up off the first kink towards the outside as the 15 did, and the 15 had a run on him and got there, and ultimately they made contact. And we'll see if they'll get the 1-to-go signal at the line this time. They will get to the line, and they will not get 1 to go. So maybe looking at 1 lap shootout to decide the stage, the way things are looking right now. That's why I'm not hearing the race audio. It's muted in my ear. There we go. Now I can hear it. There we go. Yeah, they did not get the 1-to-go signal that last time. If they don't get it this time, then the stage is going to end under caution, so it'll be interesting. Quite a few drivers towards the back half of the field stayed out trying to get some stage points. Haley Deegan, one of those. And she'll actually be restarting inside the top 10 here. One tried to block the 15, wrecked himself probably out. I don't know if he tried to... He probably did move up a little bit, like I mentioned. I think it's fair assessment that he moved up a tad, but a lot of it is the shape of the front stretch too, and there wasn't a lot of room for the 15 to try to make it 3 wide. I don't even know why he would try to put his teammate 3 wide. I'm almost wondering if he just had a lot of momentum off the exit of turn 4, got a good push from behind, had the run, and instead of lifting, just tried to stay in the gas and move where the one wasn't. And that wasn't a great move either. It'd be strange to hang your teammate out with 7 laps to go in the stage like that. So I don't know. Especially when everybody else was in a single file line at the time. Yeah, college basketball has been absolute chaos this weekend. So a 1-lap green-white checker restart to decide the Stage 1 victor. Playoff point on the line here, of course. Zane Smith looking to get another one. Has a handful already this season. Matt DiBenedetto will be on the inside of row 2. Got the 23 of Grant Enfinger to the outside of him in row 2 as well. And you have Zane Smith and Christian Eckes on the front row. Eckes going to elect the outside lane here. He is the control truck on the restart. Initially, Zane Smith, who started on the pole, elected the inside lane. And they will be going green. Truck on pace truck, that is, on the pit road. And this is going to be interesting. Will they make it back? Green flag in the air. Green-white checker. 1-lap shootout for Stage 1. Outside lane getting another good launch initially off the restart. Locking bumpers is the 23 and the 19, but Matt DiBenedetto giving a great shot to the bottom on the 38 truck of Zane Smith. They're going to be neck and neck down the back straightaway. More help on the outside. Those are much more coordinated. DiBenedetto still locking bumpers into turn 3. Now has to let go. Side by side. Final corner. Final lap of stage number 1. Zane Smith, door to door, not going to side draft the 19 heavily there. And Christian Eckes is going to win stage 1 by about a half a truck length over Zane Smith, who ends up second. So Very smart from Zane Smith. He wasn't being too aggressive at the side draft there. Knew he pretty much had second locked in the bag, if not third, and headed up second. Didn't want to cause any sort of an accident as they came to the finish of the stage. And Christian Eckes leads every lap of this race so far through stage 1. So pretty dominant start for the 19 team. Rest of your stage 1 results will look like this. Again, Christian Eckes with the stage win. Zane Smith second. Grant Enfinger third. Matt Crafton in fourth. And Matt DiBenedetto fifth. Ty Majeski sixth. Stuart Friesen seventh. Chase Purdy eighth. Ben Rhodes ninth. And Jake Garcia going to round out the top 10 in stage number 1. And that is the second stage win of the season for Eckes so far this year. I believe he won a stage at Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. Got 100 people watching. Again, like, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll more than likely have pit stops on the other side of this commercial break. Dorn Davis, welcome into the stream. Silent Owl, thanks for tuning in also. A calm race so far other than the accident we had on the front stretch on lap 24 involving two Toyota teammates. And those trucks were Lane Riggs and Tanner Gray getting together. I do believe Tanner Gray is still in the race, but Lane Riggs may be out. Could be wrong on that also, but they are both at least one lap down. Tanner Gray 1 lap down exactly, and Lane Riggs currently 3 laps down. Keith McGee is the only truck out of the race. Mason Maggio, who got in the wall on lap 1, that did not cause a caution for that, but he ended up coming into the pits, went a handful of laps down, but he is back out on the racetrack. So Spencer Boyd got the free pass during the first caution of the race for the 1 in the 15 wrecking on the front stretch. And I do think that Tanner Gray is going to get the free pass to get back on the lead lap here after being in the free pass position on that 1-lap shootout to the stage. So, I mean, that's one way to get back on the lead lap, but he's probably going to be well off the pace if I had to imagine. It looks like Matt Crafton going to stay out of the pits here. I mentioned that they might be able to make it on fuel. It looks like most of the Thor Sport trucks are actually going to stay out and probably try to take control of the pack on the restart of Stage 2. More on that in a little bit. Here are the pit road updates for those pitting during the Stage 1 break.
As you can is what you do. You want to be precise so you can get all you can for your pit crew.
Absolutely. Well, they're headed your way, Amanda.
One of the things that they've done this weekend on Zane Smith is they've added a tack back to the dash. He was struggling with the digital dash sets. It's a little jarring coming down pit lane. Has no issues with the truck. Was talking with the spotter to see if he can keep the same line as they get ready for this restart. Jamie?
Lots of pit stops that are going to be happening at the front of the pack. I'm going to start with the number 23, Grant Enfinger. I mentioned earlier that the visibility was something he was struggling with, definitely taking a tear off. He said overall he has decent drivability in the pack. It's starting to get just a little bit loose, so they're going to adjust the track bar for him. Christian Eckes, our race leader, led all of those first 30 laps, and the biggest thing for him was that he needed some help if they were going to be in traffic. That was an extremely quick pit stop for him. Big round of applause down here on pit lane. Matt DiBenedetto also made his way to pit lane in that number 25. He's happy with the truck. It was just a little too tight, so they're going to help him out. He's a little slow on that pit stop, though.
There's some contact coming out of the pits there. I think Matt DiBenedetto got ran into the side of by, might have been Colby Howard in the 9 truck after Raja Caruth was trying to leave his box, but all 3 trucks ended up making contact as they were 3 wide leaving pit road. Going to dial up Christian Eckes here during the stage break.
Big fan of Bill McAnally. Hilgeman Y'all's team has been awesome this season. Great job. How did it feel out there winning that stage and now starting in the pack to go after Stage 2?
Yeah, Michael, I got to agree with you. I'm even more of a fan. So I've had a lot of fun this year, man. It's fun to be with these guys and have really fast trucks and go contend like we should. So yeah, starting a little bit deeper here, but I think we got a good enough truck to go do it. That's what we're gonna do.
All right, buddy, thanks for your time. Take nap in victory lane in Atlanta. I never could quite do that.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get stage 1 started on the other side of the commercial break. And appreciate everybody tuning in. Just over 100 people watching. Dale Opplinger also welcome into the stream. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream. And let me refresh the page. Right now, we are currently at 35. So run that like button up, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NASCAR content as well. Mentioned that the ThorSport truck stayed out. Exactly those drivers were Matt Craftsman, Ty Majeski, and Ben Rhodes. And then the trucks that pitted during the stage break will cycle towards the front of the field as well of Carson Hocevar, John Hunter Nemechek, Corey Heim, Tyler Ankrum, and a handful of others. Zane Smith, who won the race off of the pit lane at the end of the stage, will restart back at 16th. And then stage winner Christian Eckes will be back at 18th for the restart. And Tanner Gray did get the free pass during the stage break as I expected. So he is back on the lead lap. Alrighty. Blue Devil strong right now at the moment. Yeah, I've been kind of scoreboard watching even when streaming the last couple days. My bracket, I have Tennessee winning that game. I feel very confident with it, though. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, my bracket's busted like everybody else's, but still like to get the best finish I can. Just like in racing sometimes when you get in trouble early, you still try to salvage the best finish you can. Every point matters. Same applies for March Madness brackets. Oh, that game hasn't even started yet. You said that in the comment section. I was thinking the game started already. Yeah, we'll see. Tennessee's pretty good too, but yeah, I've kind of regret my decision on taking Tennessee. Looking back on it. We'll see. We'll see if it works. I just have to I can't talk. I just have to hit 7 of my 8 legs on my round robin. So if I lose this game, I just got to win the rest. I'd rather win all 8 though. That'd be more beneficial for my wallet. So again, Matt Craftsman will race the leader when we get back to Green Flag Racing. He finished 4th at stage 1. ThorSport truck's going to try to save enough fuel to make it to the end of the stage, which they should be able to do.
3 trucks that haven't pitted yet. You'll see Matt Craftsman up there at the head of the pack. He said he's been struggling on restarts, so said that you have the truck full throttle, but it's slow.
Well, you'll have that sometimes. Restarts are tough, and you know, everybody just, about the top 5 or 6 trucks all took the top lane on this choose rule, Phil.
You know, when we talked about the race analysis at the start, we talked about stage 1 being 30, lap stage 2 30. I think they've decided that ThorSport, the 3 trucks that stayed out, have not pitted yet, are all going to try to run to the end of that second stage. The only thing better than early pitting is not pitting.
What about this truck, Jamie? It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. She's representing all of the women. It's Women's History Month, so there's 1,300 names of women in NASCAR, the top 3 national series. Their names are actually on the deck lid right there. And if
Your name's on it.
My name's on there, yes, but your daughter's on it.
My 2 daughters are on there. Michael's daughter's on there.
Yeah, and that truck is supported by Advent Health. They made all this possible, and saluting the women of NASCAR, I think is a wonderful initiative. And Wow, 1,300 women, and I think about 75 or 80 of them gathered around the truck today to get a picture before the race. That's pretty awesome.
On the grid, it was awesome, and that's representing, women represent about 20% of the hard cards between the 3 national series. Let's go back to Amanda.
Well, Jimmy, I was talking to Haley ahead of this race of all the names that are on that truck, if there's one that is very special to her, and she said, absolutely, my mom, Marissa, is right here on this truck next to my name.
Very special. She's running 13th right now.
Green flag back in the air. Craftsman elects the outside lane, which seems to be the dominant lane of the race so far. Even on the restarts, they have won the first 2 restarts of the race. Carson Hocevar didn't get a lot of help, though, on the bottom from Caden Honeycutt. He's going to try to slide in line in between the ThorSport trucks and nearly crowds one of them into the outside wall as he about got into Ben Rhodes. And now he's going to put 3 wide middle off of turn 2, and he's going backwards with no help on the back straightaway. Caden Honeycutt leading the inside with Nick Sanchez behind him. Still 3 wide, the middle of turns 3 and 4. A lot of bobbing and weaving going on off the exit of the corner. Hocevar will finally make his way to the outside. Zane Smith trying to go into that middle lane. He was trying to get as much of a draft as he could off the 42, and now he might get hung out. Now drops down to the bottom, so he'll lead the inside. Nope, he, never mind. Moves to the outside lane. Wise move there from Zane Smith. A lot of passing going on. One truck goes down below the double white line to try to make a pass. It looked like it might have been Haley Deegan, but I don't think she completed it. 51 of Jack Wood is in the middle lane, 3 wide now, between Deegan and Friesen. And we do have a caution, it appears. So caution is out. Not sure what for. It's close. Oh, yeah, never mind. Yeah, so to talk about a potential penalty there for Haley Deegan passing below the white line. I noticed off turn 2 she was below it, but then when they panned camera-wise to her, so debris bringing out the caution as well. Rolled into the infield grass on the front stretch, but caution flag still came out for it. Sounds like Zane Smith may have hit that also. It doesn't really look like he's got much damage on the race car, but he said he hit it. Piece of ballast that came out from underneath one of the race trucks. Basically just used for weight. Be a hefty fine coming to whoever's team that piece of ballast fell off of. But quick cleanup for the caution, obviously, with that debris kicking down to the infield. I would imagine that more trucks probably hit the debris other than Zane Smith, considering Zane Smith was in the middle of the pack. When he said he hit it, I wouldn't be surprised if it got bounced around from a couple other trucks. Luckily, it kicked into the infield, though, in the grass, rather than up into the air. That could have been dangerous. Craftsman in the lead at the time of the caution. His teammate Ty Majeski second. I believe Ben Rhodes still in third, despite the fact he almost got squeezed into the wall by Hocevar, who found himself back in 9th. Zane Smith has already gotten himself back in the top 10 up to 10th place. I don't think he'll be pitting because it doesn't look like there was much damage on that left front. Maybe they'll come in to check it. We'll keep an eye on our leaderboard to see if that will be the case or not. Still 30 trucks on the league lap. And I believe Ogata will get the free pass during this commercial break. I should say the debris caution specifically. That's the reason he's getting... The commercial break's not the reason he's getting the free pass, but it just so happened to be under a commercial break during the caution. 41 laps complete, still 94 laps to go as we are in the middle of stage 2. Should have around 16 or 17 laps to go in stage 2 when they get this next restart in. This is our third yellow of the day. First for debris. One incident involving the 1 and the 15 back in stage 1 and then a stage break are the 3 yellows so far through 41 laps. Still have 125 people watching. Again, appreciate everybody tuning in today. Only 65% of viewers of the channel over the last month are subscribed. So most of that comes during these live commentary streams on the weekend for the Truck, Xfinity, and the Cup Series. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. The more we can get people watching this, obviously, the more I will be able to do it in the future as well. So the plan is right now to run all the live commentary streams for the Truck, Xfinity, and the Cup Series all season. And appreciate the support we've gotten so far on the channel, or I've gotten so far on the channel throughout the course of 2023, and we're only a month in. So it's race 5 for the Cup and the Xfinity Series this weekend. Truck in race 3. A lot of racing yet to go this season. It'll be a lot of fun bringing you guys the action. Ryan Mitchell, Nicole Wembley, thanks for tuning in. Showing a replay of the 38 hitting that piece of debris. Definitely hit it with the left front. It definitely looked like it destroyed more of the splitter of the race truck. I think he'll be okay, though. Yeah, we'll see for sure on this restart exactly how it might affect Zane Smith. The caution's going to help Matt Crafton, Ty Majeski, and Ben Rhodes be able to save even more fuel to make it to the end. I think that first caution and then obviously the stage yellow should have been enough to help, considering that the fuel window is 55 to 60 laps. It would have been 60 laps to start the race to get us to the end of stage 2. Sounds like a left shock issue for the 35 of Jake Garcia. He finished in the top 10 in stage 1, but he has already pitted multiple times during this caution flag in stage 2. Trying to figure out a quick fix for that race truck.
Yeah, I mean, but as many cautions as we're getting, they probably can make it. Yeah. It's been close. To be honest with you, I didn't have the cojones to try that. I thought about it for about 2 seconds, and I thought better of it.
Well then.
Yeah, that's a good reason not to try.
So he's saying they were brave and taking a chance.
A lot of trucks choosing that outside lane here as we see the choose area of the racetrack throughout the field. And here comes Zane Smith up to behind Caden Honeycutt. Honeycutt was running 7th, Phil, so I think the first 6 trucks
stayed on the outside.
Are you believing that? I don't blame Caden Honeycutt.
And right now, Zane Smith is going to be listening to his spotter, Josh Williams, said, please tell me when I can get up. Please tell me when there's a gap that I can move up.
Those Thor Sport teammates, it worked for him last time. They're going to try it again.
Check this out.
Well, I can certainly understand why the top 3, because they're all Thor Sport teammates. John Hunter's going to stick with them, Corey Heim, as well as Tyler Ankrum.
And then Caden Honeycutt said, this looks fun. I'm going to go up on the front row.
What a clear view up there. Thank you very much. Pick up 5 spots.
That's awesome.
And for all these trucks on the inside, it's about their spotters telling them that I have a gap. We have a gap on the outside. I can move up and get in that line.
We'll see what Caden Honeycutt can do there on the front row. The 19-year-old from Willow Park, Texas. Late model racer. Getting another shot at it here. Finished 9th at Phoenix last year. Really raced.
Yeah, I saw his teams in the garage yesterday and they said he's a wheelman. He can get it done. Well, we're going to see that right now.
All right.
Green flag back in the air. Matt Crafton again looks the outside. The top 6 cars stayed to the outside lane for the restart. Honeycutt in 7th, the first on the bottom. Zane Smith, who was 10th when the caution came out, will be row 2 on the inside, pushing Honeycutt, trying to work together. Raja Caruth going to go 3 wide to the outside in the middle of the pack, splitting the 2 truck of Nick Sanchez, and Matt DiBenedetto still on the bottom of that. 4 trucks are down on the bottom lane right now, all staying together, which is going to keep them in coordinates with the race leaders. Honeycutt will lead his first lap of the race as he was inches ahead of the 88 of Matt Crafton down on the bottom lane on the restart. The bottom's got a lot more trucks there than what they have on the first 2 restarts of the race. That seems to be helping out. Zane Smith obviously doing a great job pushing a fellow Ford in front of him as well. Crafton clear by about 3 car lengths off the exit of turn 4. Has his teammates quickly following him now, and now the outside is beginning to take charge once again as they're losing more numbers on the bottom and the back half of that inside lane. Only 4 trucks are there. 4 trucks would be Honeycutt, Smith. Looks like the 19 is up there as well. And the 41 truck of Bailey Curry also on the bottom lane. One truck sideways in the middle of turn 1. It was Honeycutt. It's actually off the exit of turn 4. Caden Honeycutt's got an issue because he is very, very slow on the front stretch. Something happened mechanically to the 04 truck of Caden Honeycutt, which caused a stack up on the inside. Luckily, there were only a couple trucks left down there at the time of that happening, but unfortunately, Zane Smith ran into the back of him, almost turned him. Slows Zane Smith and Bailey Curry, who were still in that bottom lane, up. They lose about a half a dozen or more positions. Raja Caruth barely slipped by on the outside of the 19 truck, who had to get out of harm's way in the middle lane, as he was initially behind the 38, but Honeycutt very slow, still on the track, trying to limp his truck around the track. Big gap now built up between the 8th and 9th place race trucks. Like that's 7th and 8th place as Eckes is down on the bottom. Raja Caruth leading that second group with Stuart Friesen behind him. Friesen started outside the top 20 up to 9th and 50 laps. Still 85 to go and 11 to go exactly in stage 2. Single file for the top 7 on the outside line, and that second group also single file on the top trying to catch up. Bottom lane just not able to really get going here in this race. They held on longer that last restart until the stack up off of turn 4. And even just before that, they had fallen back to about the 4th or 5th place trucks in the outside lane. So they were really only able to hold on for about a lap and a half. Tough break for Honeycutt. Elected the inside. It looked to be working out initially for him, gaining a little bit of extra track position. Got a lap let in. He's still trying to limp his truck to pit road as he's down below the double white line off the exit of turn 4 still at a very slow rolling pace. Caruth about 0.8 of a second off the 7th place race truck of Grant Enfinger up ahead of him. Like, one truck got sideways in the middle of the front stretch, and that was the 9 of Colby Howard getting pushed by Nick Sanchez, and then he clipped the right rear corner panel of the 19 of Eckes. Eckes still going backwards on the inside as he gets hung out again. Truck's training around him on the outside. Eckes is now falling back to 12th. Zane Smith going to get around him, and Eckes in line on the top behind the 38 of Smith off of turn 2. Eckes won stage 1 in this race, in danger of potentially not even getting any stage points in stage 2. By the time he pulled up in line on the outside, he couldn't keep the momentum up, and he has lost the draft of that second group until they started hopping out of line down the middle of turns 3 and 4. Stuart Friesen going to take the lead in that group now. He's going to try to lead him up there. That's another stage point on the line, obviously, and he feels most confident of trying to get more stage points if they can catch that group, but them splitting apart for just that quick second and drop them back another couple tenths of a second that last lap. Numbers game-wise, it looks like they're pretty equal in that group. About 7 trucks in both of them. They're catching a little bit of a draft on the back straightaway. Trying to get themselves in contention. And now they're side by side in that lead pack towards the tail end of it, which is going to help Fr8 out as well. So 23 hopped out of line trying to make a pass. Instead, he'll lose a position to Tyler Ankrum. And Fr8 able to jump in front of the 23 as he caught that lead pack, and he passes Enfinger for position. Zane Smith tried to do the same, but he got hung up on the inside. DiBenedetto and Roger Cruth initially went with him, now goes to the top. Smith trying to force his way in front of the 25 and barely does. 4 laps to go in stage 2, this time by. Craftsman continues to lead, with his teammate Ty Majeski very close behind him in second place. There are exactly 14 trucks in that lead pack, fighting for 10 positions for stage points here in the final 4 laps of the stage. Enough fuel should have been saved during the cautions that it shouldn't be an issue for the top 3 ThorSport trucks who did not pit during the stage break or during that late caution back in stage 1. And those same 3 trucks continue to run 1, 2, 3 at the front of the field with 3 to go in the stage. Matt Craftsman trying to get his first stage win of the early going of the season. Will his teammates hang him out, or will it be a move from 4th on back that will be made in these closing laps to try to get the stage win? John Hunter Nemechek maybe getting a little bit of a gap built up now between himself and the ThorSport trucks in front of him. Nemechek is the 4th place truck. He's got Corey Heim, defending winner of this race, behind him in the 11. Tyler Ankrum, Stuart Friesen there as well. Top 3 race trucks still out in front. Closing the gap now is Nemechek, but doesn't make the move off the exit of turn 2. He'll stay tucked in line behind Ben Rhodes. Lap and a half to go now at stage 2 as they enter turns 3 and 4. No moves made by the ThorSport trucks. They stay in a cohesive unit. Couple trucks going down to the bottom. Zane Smith and looks like Matt DiBenedetto trying to make a couple extra passes. Smith clears the 52 for position at the start-finish line, and Friesen with the crossover to the bottom with help from DiBenedetto. Nemechek to the inside into turns 1 and 2 now as he's got a massive run. Off the exit of the corner, he'll pull alongside of Matt Craftsman on the back straightaway. Can he get a push from behind from Corey Heim? Yes, he does. 88 and the 98 are split apart just enough. Into turns 3 and 4, side by side for the stage win. Matt Craftsman, John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek slides wide, trying to block, he couldn't do it. The run off the exit of the corner goes to Craftsman, and Craftsman will win stage 2. Matt Craftsman will win stage 2, barely holding off John Hunter Nemechek. Trouble at the back. The 20 truck got into the outside wall off the exit of turn 2, it appeared, back at the tail end of the field. Heavy damage on his truck, and that is the first stage win for Matt Craftsman this season. His teammate Ty Majeski stayed with him every step of the way. He finishes 2nd in the stage. John Hunter Nemechek ended up 3rd. Ben Rhodes 4th. Corey Heim 5th. Zane Smith 6th. Tyler Ankrum 7th. Graham Finger 8th. Stuart Friesen 9th. And Nick Sanchez will round out the top 10 in stage number 2. Everybody will more than likely pit during this stage break. Craftsman came into this race 4 points out of 1st and 4th in the standings overall. So those some good stage points for him early in this regular season. Farm Boy 2, thanks for tuning in. James Orton, welcome into the stream also. Frank Powers, welcome. Ready for the doubleheader. I am too. Quiet race for the most part so far. Got intense there for about the final lap of that opening stage as well as stage 2. And my pick before this race started was Ben Rhodes to win. I'll put a quick poll in the chat to see who you guys think will win this race. Weather Expert Gaming, welcome into the stream also. put the 2 stage winners. And then the points leader in. Who? Alright, so I just put a poll up in the chat for you guys of who you think will win this Truck Series race at Atlanta today. And the choices are between your 2 stage winners of Matt Craftsman and Christian Eckes, as well as points leader Zane Smith, who started on the poll for this one. Bruce Buckner, welcome into the stream also. How does that one guy show the races no sound? That's illegal. Oh, I don't know. I don't even know what guy you're talking about, to be completely honest. The entire field coming onto pit road here. Still just outside the fuel window to make it to the end of the race. But we will see what these teams will do.
To pit as well. He's
More
one
than
of the
likely
teams
4
that
tire
has
stops
opted
coming,
with
you'd
the
have to
analog
imagine.
Dashes this season. Didn't want to miss with that digital dash and said he thought this would really help him today on this tricky, long pit stops. But said that the truck felt great, felt even better as some of the fuel load burned off. But there you are. There's that leader, Matt Craftsman. His team told him excellent job on picking up that stage win. It's going to be 4 tires for Matt and 1 round out of the track bar. Jamie?
Also coming down pit lane will be Ty Majeski for his first pit stop of the day, as well as John Hunter Nemechek for his second for Ty. He needs a couple of chassis adjustments, so they're going to take a couple of extra moments, as well as 4 new tires for him. For John Hunter Nemechek, the number 17, he's angled out just a little bit. Wanted to give a heads up to the crew for that because the number 30 is put in front of them. Was also coming very quick pit stop for John Hunter as he only took 2 tires.
So 2 tire stop for John Hunter Nemechek will win him the race off of pit road. He'll get that track position and more than likely restart in the lead. Corey Heim took 2 tires. DiBenedetto went fuel only, moving him up to 3rd. Also, Chase Purdy went fuel only, gaining 11 spots. Matt Craftsman took 4, so he lost 7 spots on pit road. He was the first driver out of the pits of those that took 4. Roger Carruth behind him also took 4. So some strategy being played out here at Atlanta. It's a relatively freshly paved racetrack, so not seeing a lot of tire fall off, which is why we are seeing a lot of no tire, 2 tire pit stops. Well, contact coming out of the pits there, and I believe Grant Enfinger, the 23, was the truck that made contact with the 32 that was trying to get into his box. Luckily, all the crew members were able to stay out of harm's way there. That was Brett Holmes in the 32, where the contact was made. It looks like actually it might have been Nick Sanchez in the 2 that made the contact, not Grant Enfinger. Apologize. Track position seems to be the name of the game in today's truck race at Atlanta. Got to queue up Matt Craftsman, it sounds like.
Phil Parsons, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Quick.
Excellent job in that first stage. Shane had a great strategy. You 3 ThorSport guys stayed out, elected not to pit till the end of the second stage. How's that truck?
Balanced pretty good. Made a little bit of crap bar adjustment right there, and see what we got for the rest of this race. Just be smart. It's going to be very interesting here once we get going. At the end of this race, is everybody's going to take their gloves off, but you ever thought you'd run that many laps in Atlanta with no tires?
How are the trucks handling out there, Matt?
Very good. Balanced, very good. You're just, when you get in the lead, you just sit there and run wide open. It's basically like Talladega, Daytona, when you're second, third one back. You have to lift every once in a while because you get from on, but interesting to say the least.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. Good luck.
And we
Thank you, appreciate it.
mentioned Shane Wilson. He won the Xfinity Championship with Harvick back in '06. He's been around. We'll be back for the second half of the Craftsman Truck Series race here at Atlanta.
So final stage about to begin. About halfway home officially. 65 laps down, 70 laps still to go. Decide who will win the third truck race of the season. Lock themselves into the playoffs. And if it is not John Hunter Nemechek, who's running full-time in the Xfinity Series. This is the second start of the season for Nemechek. He ran that 17 truck back at Las Vegas a couple weeks ago as well. But it'll be interesting to see how this stage will play out. Again, the track position has been very, very important in today's race, and the outside lane seems to be by far the preferred lane on the racetrack. There's been little success on the bottom, like on that last lap of the first stage, but it seems like they're only really able to keep that momentum up on the inside for about 2 laps or so before trucks start to try to migrate to the top as they start to fall backwards. There's just so much momentum off the exit of the corner with the 28 degrees of banking at this racetrack and how flat both the back straightaway and the front stretch are at this Atlanta Motor Speedway that it just makes it so much more difficult for the trucks on the bottom to try to hang on. They can get there in the center of the corner, in the middle of the corner. That's how Nemechek was able to make that move on the final lap, but as he tried to pull clear of Craftsman off turn 4 and wasn't able to do it, Craftsman had the momentum, and obviously a little bit of side draft there off the exit of the corner initially helped him propel by. Nemechek maybe got out a little bit too far ahead of Corey Heim, who was the truck behind him, pushing him initially on that inside lane. Nearly won Nemechek the stage, but Nemechek wins the race off pit road with the 2-tire stop, so he's got the lead anyway, and he's not running for points in the truck series, so I think he's in a pretty good spot, all things considered, with how everything has worked itself out to start stage 3. Again, another reminder, the Xfinity Series race at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. We will have a break in between streams, so that will be on a separate stream. And then tomorrow's NASCAR Cup race at Atlanta will begin on the channel at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our pre-race coverage, giving you guys some last-minute fantasy advice, some betting advice for tomorrow's Atlanta Cup race on this newly revamped super speedway. They are doubled up and getting ready to go green this time by. Looks like Nemechek, of course, elects the outside lane for the restart. And I think Raja Karuth will be the first truck down on the bottom. So again, they will be going green. Field is just getting off of turn 4. Matt DiBenedetto will actually be the truck on the inside of row 1 for the restart. Green flag back in the air. Will the inside be able to propel forward this time? More than likely, I'd have to say not, because only 2 trucks are ahead. Matt Craftsman had too much of a gap built up between himself and Zane Smith. There's about probably 6 truck lengths in between the second and third place trucks on the bottom. Smith is still pushing DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto better hope he's going to be clear off of turn 4, or they're going to be going straight backwards as they have zero help. Stuart Friesen in the 52, still staying on the outside in the third lane. Going to stay close behind Heim, so that way the 25 and the 38 have no chance to try to get up in between them. John Hunter Nemechek will lead that opening lap of stage 3 under green flag conditions. Side by side for second between DiBenedetto and Heim. Benedetto not too aggressive with the side draft right now, and there they go, backwards as predicted, as there was just, again, too big of a gap between Craftsman and Smith. Craftsman able to get to the outside as his teammate Ben Rhodes let him in. in the 8th place position, it appears. Zane Smith still stuck on the bottom. So it sounds like some of these crew chiefs saying that their drivers are going to be about 12 to 15 laps short on fuel to the end of the race from the end of this stage, which kind of expected they were going to have to pit at least one more time. If we get a caution, that will be when the pit stops will take place. But if we don't get a yellow, it's going to be interesting to see how green flag pit stops will work with this new Atlanta Motor Speedway, especially with the new pit lane, as they have to commit to pit road off the, or I should say going into the entrance of turn 3. It's a very long, slow pit road with the speed limit at 45 miles an hour. Can't afford to make a mistake with speeding at this racetrack, especially. You're going to go a couple laps down, especially with the speeds that they're running on this track. Back to another single file lane on the outside. Matt DiBenedetto and Zane Smith still stuck on the bottom, though. They have fallen back outside the top 15 right now, as that entire lead pack is still motivating their way by them. There are 30 trucks on the lead lap, but the lead pack is consisted of about 25 trucks, and that's probably where DiBenedetto and Zane Smith are going to be going, despite restarting on the inside of rows 1 and 2 on the restart. Toyotas 1 through 4 at the front of the field. Then you have 2 Chevys, 2 Fords, another Toyota, and another Ford rounding out the top 10. Everybody being very patient. They just do not want to try to go to that bottom lane. And I would imagine they're going to ride in line here for quite a while. Zane Smith was able to get to the outside. So is Matt DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto, though, a little further back before getting to the top. Gonna give a little NASCAR on Fox Crank It Up, and you guys will get to listen into that.
Wow, look at all those decisions these guys are making, Phil. They want those runs. They've got the runs, but do they take them?
They have to have somewhere to go. That's the problem. They can gain 2 or 3 truck lengths, but there's nowhere to go. They can't get in line on the outside, and then the outside will pull them. New crew chief on board for the 52 is Stuart Friesen this week. Blake Bainbridge now is the crew chief. Having a great run here.
I talked to Stuart yesterday. He led the most laps here a year ago, as I mentioned, but he also said he loves this place, and he just felt like they needed something different, a fresh change. Chris Larson, team owner, Trip Bruce manager, they just got together and made that move. Oh, that was close.
Well, bump draft almost gone wrong on the back straightaway between Chase Purdy and Tyler Ankrum in 4th and 5th place. Ankrum got a bit sideways, able to regather himself. Didn't really lose much momentum, as he probably stayed in the throttle, as he's close behind the 52 of Friesen yet. Chase Purdy keeping a tight gap between himself and Ankrum continuously still. Going with a side-by-side commercial break as we have trouble off of turn 2. The 46 is around and smacks the inside retaining wall on the back straightaway. Right as they were cutting to break, the 46 slides off of turn 2, and the left front smacks the inside wall on the backstretch. A lot of damage to the back bumper. He definitely got hit from behind. Akinori Ogata in the 46 was involved in that crash. And a lot of damage on the front bumper of the number 9 truck. But that had nothing to do with... Yeah, that had nothing to do with the 46 going sideways. It looked like he just got loose in the exit of turn 2. Really crunched that left front fender. Like the back of the race truck kind of hit pretty hard too. That's where he got the damage from. I thought that might have been from another truck. That wasn't the case. But definitely got loose off the exit of turn 2. There was no contact there whatsoever with both the 9 truck on the outside or the truck that was in the bottom lane behind him. By the way, I forgot for mention some of you guys in the chat that maybe have tuned in recently. I noticed a chat on my live stream last night too. I had to constantly refresh it on my phone. Antoine Powell, thanks for tuning in. Patrick Shadley, welcome into the stream. Robert Bramley. And we got Willy Wonka, Bren Dial into the stream. Bearded Beta. Racing Champion 76. Welcome in, everybody. I don't have money on this race. I didn't feel confident enough with this new Atlanta configuration I'd predict the winner. I will do something for the Cup Series race tomorrow, but I stayed away from the truck in the Xfinity this week. Which, I took Ben Rhodes to win this truck race. That was my prediction. I'll be upset if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'll be wrong. Because he is back in... I mean, he's been in the top 10 the whole race, but track positions mattered so much. Field is going to pit now as we're likely within the fuel window to be able to make it to the end after this caution. As we have about 55 laps to go.
It can be different when you're going straight, so the engineers and the team have to cipher all that out.
You see all them running around the outside of the racetrack. Obviously, if they went to the inside line, but they checked their speed on the outside line, then they would be running a shorter distance, and they would be speeding on pit road.
So again, the entrance there is in turn 3. Normally, out of turn 4, you drop down to pit road. They're all coming down. They're coming to you, Amanda.
Look at that long line of trucks making their way to us. I'm going to start with the 16 of Tyler Ankrum. Phil, you were right. They did not have to wait long to get that fuel. It's going to be fuel only on that truck. Feels good. A little snug in the center. Moving on to the number 11 of Corey Heim. His team was tough just to take care of the truck, but how about...
Oh, trouble on pit road.
Look at that connection there on pit road. And they move...
Corey Heim making contact with the 9 of Chase... sorry, not Chase Purdy.
Back in the
Colby Howard.
Position, fuel only for Stewart. Jamie?
It was fuel only for John Hunter Nemechek as well. His crew chief Bill Wilburn telling him on the radio right now, save, 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 save. I do believe he was able to beat Tyler Ankrum off of pit road, but it was a tight exit.
It's a situation again when you're going to do fuel only. You're on pit road so little time.
You know, and you really rely on your spotters and even your crew chief. Your crew chief needs to know who's around and who's where. There's nothing absolutely at all Corey Heim did wrong there. He went when he was told to go. And with the other truck coming in, you just got to have situational awareness, whether it's Colby Howard not turning in or the crew chief telling or spotter telling him what to do. But you can see this affected Stuart Friesen as well.
Yeah, Friesen got a piece of the 9's front bumper as the 9 had spun into a pit box that actually wasn't even his. I think he was pitted in the next box ahead. It was a very tight race off of pit road as well, where John Hunter Nemechek won the race on Grant Enfinger. It was not by much. The 56 truck of Timmy Hill stayed out of the track. But I think he'll likely end up coming into the pits here very soon anyway. I don't think they're getting the one-to-go signal yet. Nope. I'd imagine he's probably just going to stay out, restart at the tail end of the field. And John Hunter Nemechek will more than likely be the leader on the restart. I do not have a pick yet for the Cup Series race. I haven't really looked too into the statistical side of things of that yet this weekend. And I did not catch qualifying earlier today either, so. Kind of want to see how the Xfinity Series race is going to go today too, because this has been a very anticlimactic truck race for the most part. A lot of single file racing on the outside, as they have not really been able to stay side by side on the bottom for longer than a lap or two on the restarts. We've had a handful of restarts with the 2 stage breaks and now a couple cautions for incident. We had a debris yellow in there, so 5 cautions total. And we just haven't seen it for more than 2 laps. I don't know how much of it is the drivers being patient or they're just unable to actually get that bottom lane to work, because everybody further back in that bottom lane abandons and goes to the outside too soon, that the bottom just can't keep the energy up for longer than those 2 laps. It just seems like after 2 laps, even if the inside lane is still with the leaders, side by side for the lead per se, and then trucks from like 4th to 5th on the inside lane on back start moving into the outside, it leaves only a couple trucks on the bottom, and that's when they start going backwards. So I don't know if it's that or that the trucks on the inside, even if they did have 8 cars in a line for, say, 5-6 laps, if they would actually be able to keep control. Have yet to really answer that question. And we're not really going to be able to answer that question unless we get trucks on the bottom for more than 2 laps at a time. But it is somewhat telling, though, that on the restarts at the outside lane specifically, the top 5 or 6 trucks continuously take that outside, and you're not seeing the first truck on the bottom lane on a restart go there until very late. Now, I would imagine as we get closer to the end of the race, you're probably not going to see that, but because we still have a little over 50 laps to go, the top 8 trucks, the top 9 trucks took the outside. And Chase Purdy in the Ford truck will be on the inside of row 1. Now, Matt DiBenedetto, who was on the inside of row 2 in the last restart and fell back outside the top 10, he's going to try it again from the inside of row 2. Trying to get that track position back once again. Purdy and DiBenedetto up 9 positions for this restart to try to take the chance on the inside once again. Nick Sanchez also on the bottom, and Corey Heim, who lost a lot of time on pit road, will come to the bottom. Got debris flapping around everywhere as they go green, and 2 trucks get turned. Caution's going to be out right away on the restart. Nick Sanchez is around in the grass. He got hit heavily from behind by Corey Heim as the front end of his race truck is bashed in. Mistimed restart there for Nick Sanchez and Corey Heim, bringing out a caution. It looked like the 2 just didn't get going on the restart, and Heim ran right into the back of him. It definitely looked like Sanchez just didn't take off, whether he missed a gear or spun the tires. He wasn't shaking back and forth, so I don't know if he really spun the tires. Michael Waltrip kind of stated in the booth that maybe he missed a gear. But whatever the case is, Nick Sanchez did not take off on that restart. And that's what caused the 11 to get into him pretty hard from behind. Zane Smith got into the back of the 11 as well, but nowhere near as much damage on Smith's race truck compared to Heim. Heim will not be able to continue with the damage to his truck. Sanchez should be fine to get fresh tires back on that truck. Try to pull out that left rear fender a little bit. He'll be okay. Heim is out of the truck. So he will not win back-to-back races in his home state at Atlanta. And the defending winner of this race is now done after running in the top 10 for most of the day. Robert Goodrich, thanks for tuning in also. Colt Schwartz, welcome into the stream also. Insta caution. Yeah, they barely took the green there. 50 laps to go. Nemechek's still the leader for this next restart. And that was a perfect caution for Chase Purdy and Matt DiBenedetto because they took the inside and we had a caution so quickly that they gained 9 positions and they didn't even have to get into turn 1 before the caution flag ended up coming out, and now they can elect the outside if they choose to. Chase Purdy can be the second truck on the outside lane for the restart. That was a perfect yellow for Chase Purdy, Matt DiBenedetto. Couldn't have been more perfect, honestly. Unless Purdy could have gotten the launch and maybe got to the lead, but he'll be in second. That's his second best place to be. Chase Purdy going to try to cue him up on the radio.
Well, it's good to see you yesterday, the smile on your face. You said, I'm going to win this race, and you're in a position to do that. How do you execute from here?
Yeah, I think you just keep your nose clean and don't put yourself on the bottom to be hung out. Be there at the end. I think that, this is a lot like Daytona Talladega. You're going to have to wait until the last lap and the off of 4 to make your move, or at least halfway into turn 3, dictate your run.
All right, we can't wait to watch. Great job. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
Can Purdy potentially pull off the upset today as he's got the track position for the first time? We'll have to wait and see.
Probably not, because when I spun out, I just fired it right up. Like I was going through the gears. I was in the middle of my first and second shift with power, and it just died. Like I launched on the back of a 25.
I agree.
Yeah, we saw it lose power.
But,
Yeah.
I said it either broke something or he missed a shift, and he's going with the it broke something side of that story.
What other sport can you just dial up an athlete in the middle of their event and get their perspective, or dial in?
That was team communications on Nick Sanchez as he was trying to explain to his crew what happened on that restart, that the truck seemed like it just may have died on him, that he felt he didn't miss his shift. Speedy drive being put down on the apron. Bunch of oil down there after the contact between Sanchez and Heim. Joshua Brady, Troy, thanks for tuning in. Got about 150 people watching. Again, our goal is 100 likes for today's Truck Series live commentary stream, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Currently, we are at 65 likes. And again, subscribe. Only 65% of viewers over the last month on the channel is subscribed, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is free. Helps me out a ton. So we'll try this restart again this time. And again, we'll have to wait and see if the inside lane can keep up for a longer period of time with the outside, and will they get maybe more aggressive as the laps start to tick down? If they do, I don't know that it'll be now, but you also just don't know when the last restart will be. Because we have had situations where we could potentially end up getting long green flag runs, considering how strung apart the field tends to get with the single file racing on the outside, if they choose to try to do that again on this next restart. And we're definitely within the fuel window to make it to the end. It was going to be borderline, but now with this caution coming out, and if we get any more yellows, it's only going to secure the likelihood that everybody will be able to make it on gas to the end of the race. I've noticed the last 2 commercial breaks that Fox has done, they've gone side by side during the caution. And I'm kind of curious as to why they're doing that now. I wish they'd do it during green flag action. I feel like if they were to get the full screen commercials in, that during the yellow flag would be most opportune. I swear, if we get a full screen commercial break between now and the end of the race, under green flag conditions, when they went side by side during the last 2 caution flag commercials, that's just not right. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning in. Ever played mini golf? at a baseball game, minor or major league level? No. I don't know of any. At least the stadiums I've been to, I haven't noticed any mini golf areas. I know in Detroit they have like a batting cage area you could go. It's like a electronic batting cage. It's simulated pitching, basically. It's what it is. And then they also have some pitching machines where you kind of guess your speed. Kind of like you would see at like a carnival or something of that nature. I've done that before too. Although since COVID, I haven't noticed the pitching one back up. At least a couple times I've been to Comerica Park since then. I do know the batting cages are still there, though. I'll have to look for that again when I go there this summer. So we've had pretty good finishes to the end of both stages on the final lap. So even if they do get to single file racing, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be a pretty close finish in this race. And it's going to come down to the last lap regardless. With any type of super speedway style racing, you can pretty much expect that. And that is no different again today. And it's all about track position. Chase Purdy and Matt DiBenedetto on that last restart were able to capitalize on that to perfection with the quick yellow after contact between Nick Sanchez and Corey Heim in the restart zone, causing those two cars to wreck. Heim is now out of the race, and Sanchez still in the race. Damage to the back of his race truck shouldn't affect him speed-wise too much. They're hoping that, obviously, there isn't too big of a mechanical issue with Sanchez that he could start taking off on the restarts going forward. He'll be at the tail end of the field this time, though, so wouldn't have to worry about causing a stack up. 6 different leaders, 8 lead changes. Still 28 trucks on the lead lap, and we've had now 6 cautions in today's race after that most recent wreck. Christian Eckes has led the most laps so far with 32 laps led, including the first 32 of the race. Led every lap of stage 1 after starting 4th today. Daniel Dye getting the free pass during that last caution to get back on the lead lap as well. NASCAR fan David Niehoff and Go Get 'em 188, thanks for tuning in. 150 people watching, 81 likes. We're almost to our goal of 100. Who knows? Maybe we get to 150 once we get to 100, but got to get to 100 first here for our goal. 45 laps to go this time by. Still haven't gotten the 1 to go signal yet. So it sounds like some of these teams are starting to radio into their drivers that they should be pretty good on fuel into the end of the race with these caution laps being ran after back-to-back yellows to start stage 3. As far as this stage alone goes, we've only had about 7 or 8 green flag laps. Still 45 to go. 90 laps in the books. And we still have an Xfinity race coming up later today as well. Again, that live stream will begin at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this afternoon. And our Cup Series live commentary stream tomorrow will begin at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Busy weekend right here on the channel and at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And they have not gotten the 1 to go signal this time either, so still some cleanup to be had on the front stretch. Sounds like they're going to try to queue up John Hunter Nemechek as well from the booth.
Yeah, I got you, Phil.
Well, Jamie and Michael and I are talking about how good your truck was last year, and you helped your teammate go to victory lane, and that same teammate was behind you. Same teammate from last year, Corey Heim, was behind you for a large part of this race, but you've lost him now. What's your strategy?
Try and stay out front. Do whatever we can to stay out front. But the guys in Tricon Garage have definitely given me a fast, very bullet Toyota Tundra here today, DRD Pro. So just excited to be back in the Truck Series for one more time this year. Try to go get a win out of it.
How was the racetrack, John Hunter? Is it similar to last year? Did it lose any grip? What are you feeling out there?
I can't exactly give you my secrets. Hopefully they go and transfer over to the Xfinity race later today. So
all I can say is I have a really good truck right now.
All right, buddy, doing a great job. Appreciate it.
And he mentioned it right there. He doesn't want to give away his secrets because he's got another race coming up. He's the only double-duty driver doing the Xfinity Series. And by the way, he's starting on the front row. And there's his Xfinity.
So there you go. It's one thing to do double duty on the same weekend with 2 series, but double duty in the same day for John Hunter Nemechek this weekend. He'll be looking for his second win of the Xfinity Series season. They're going to interview Corey Heim after he has been checked and released from the infield care center.
A repeat. What happened there on that restart?
Typically, once you get through first gear, I kind of look in the mirror and, try to block and make sure. I saw Zane was behind me. He's pretty aggressive, so I wanted to make sure he wasn't going to jump me at the line. And next thing I know, I look back, and the two, I don't know what happened. I mean, unless I just formed a really big run on him, I think he had the issues. So really unfortunate for Tricon and my Safe Flight team. We had an okay truck today. We kind of got behind on pit road and the sequence before that. So if we still would have been up front, obviously that wouldn't have happened. But, team effort, and we'll move on.
Corey, tell us what happened on pit road from your perspective.
With the fuel-only stops and you only being on pit road for like 2 seconds, it's really hard to judge who's coming in, who's coming out, and it's just a communication thing between our team and the 9 team, and could have definitely been resolved in an easier way, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Well, Corey, you're doing a great job. You got to be so optimistic about this 2023 season and the fact that you're going to win a lot of races this year and run for the championship.
Yeah, I mean, today sucks. I mean, it's definitely a bummer, but, I definitely have a good team under me and Tricon, and Scott Zabadelli, we're going to work it out and move on and be better.
Thanks for your time, Corey. We'll see you at Circuit of the Americas next week.
All right, thank you.
Turning left and right. Next up, that's next week, 1:30 Eastern, right here on FM.
Yeah, it'll be the first road course races for all 3 series this season at COTA next week. You heard me, Jeff Sperry. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see how many cars will stay on the outside lane this time. Front 5, 6, 7 trucks stay on the outside, and the 8th place truck goes to the top also. And Jack Wood will be the first truck on the inside row for the restart. He's got a little bit of help from behind from some faster race trucks of Zane Smith and Ben Rhodes. Ty Majeski in the 98, the other Thor Sport truck. So Zane Smith and Ty Majeski will be down on the bottom. In the UK, all sports are commercial free. Race game starts, commercials stop until halftime or the game or race is finished. Yeah, I wish it was like that here. Yeah, because, I mean, even in other sports, even though it's like a dead ball, they still have commercial breaks literally set out for during the game. It's just a little different in racing, obviously, because it sometimes takes place during the actual live action, where in other sports it isn't the case. Green flag going to be back in the air. Nemechek again elects the outside lane. The 51 spins his tires on the restart, does not get going, and immediately there are a lot of trucks on the bottom trying to abandon ship to the outside. And there'll be 3 by 3 towards the back half of the top 10, now just outside the top 10 in the middle of turns 1 and 2 as they get up to speed. Heim trying to get a nice recovery after a big shot for the 38 off turn 2. Will pull to the inside of Chase Purdy for second, and a second win being had from Jack Wood in the 51 for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Nemechek will lead the following lap after the restart. Top 2 trucks clear of the first truck on the bottom, which is still the 51 of Jack Wood. Got about 5 trucks on the inside. One truck abandons the bottom but couldn't get to the top, and now it's 3 wide middle. That'd be Ty Majeski in the 98. Down to 3 trucks on the bottom lane. There's a little bit of damage on the right rear corner panel of Zane Smith's race truck, and I think it was from that last restart where Heim ran into the back of Nick Sanchez. He probably got hit from behind in that stack up, but there is a flare on that right rear corner panel of the 38. Inside lane still going backwards as they're losing numbers. 5 trucks down on the bottom, only the top 3 of which still pretty close in accordance to one another. One truck abandoning all the way down to the bottom as there was contact on the outside. The 5 truck of Dean Thompson has gotten into the outside wall, and his right front tire is down as he smacks the wall hard again in turns 3 and 4, and that will bring out our 7th caution of the race with 40 laps to go. So we get about 2.5 laps in after this restart. Dean Thompson blows the right front tire, and that will bring out yet another yellow. Thompson in 13th place at the time. It looked like the 45 car of Lawless Allen tried to get into the outside and squeeze Thompson into the wall. And then once they went down into turn 3, that right front tire was already flat on the 5 truck of Thompson, and up into the wall again he went pretty hard. And that's a tough break there for Thompson. All the fault definitely falls on Lawless Allen for that one. He went to the outside when he was not clear, forced his way into the 5, and the 5 got knocked into the wall. Pancake it pretty good that second hit into the wall going into turns 3 and 4. Could be tough to pull the fenders out of that race truck, but they'll try to do the best they can. This will cook away yet more laps under caution in this final stage. And that's going to make things even harder for drivers outside the top 10 who have pretty fast race trucks and try to get to the front of the field when the track position is not optimal in this situation. Some drivers were able to benefit from this quick yellow too. Jack Wood, who would have restarted 10th, 8th I believe actually, is now up to 4th when the caution came out. And then Zane Smith, who was just outside the top 10, is now up to 7th. Christopher Jimenez, thanks for tuning into the stream. I'm doing great this weekend. Hopefully you are too. See if we hit our goal for likes on the stream. So far we are at 87 likes, so just 13 away from our goal today. Can hit that like button. If you haven't done so, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're down to 37 laps to go this time by at the line. Our 7th caution of the race here for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series of the Fr8 208 at Atlanta. 29 trucks on the lead lap. That does include Dean Thompson, who was just involved in that most recent accident. And the 12 truck of Spencer Boyd going to get the free pass once again today, as he actually, Spencer Boyd got the free pass during the second to last yellow for the Sanchez and Heim accident. This caution, it appears that Ogata will be back on the lead lap as he'll get the free pass. He brought out the first caution of stage 3 after he got loose and spun off of turn 2, but he is still in this race. The only truck that's out of the race so far would be Mason Maggio, Keith McGee, and Corey Heim. Caden Honeycutt had that mechanical issue earlier, but he is still in the race 14 laps down. So past those other 3 trucks that are out. Led a lap earlier today, but had that mechanical issue when he restarted on the front row. Tough break for him. He's having a solid run up to that point. So it sounds like Taylor Gray will be taking over the 17 truck for the rest of the season at Tricon Racing. John Hunter Nemechek making his second and final start in that truck this weekend. And again, he also started at Las Vegas 2 weeks ago in the Truck Series. They'll be getting the 1-to-go signal this time by. Maybe not. I don't know. They cut to the booth. I can't see anything yet. The poll that I put up in the chat at the start of Stage 3, I will end at lap 30 for who you think is going to win today's race. Currently, the voting poll has other at 39% winning, which is basically the pick outside of the three that are already in the poll of Matt Crafton, Christian Eckes, and Zane Smith. Crafton has 34% of the votes so far, Zane Smith with 20% of the votes, and then Christian Eckes at 6%. So again, that poll will close with 30 laps to go, so very shortly here, a couple laps into this next restart. And we will see what will happen off of this restart and how many green flag laps will we have left in this race, as most of this final stage has been ran under caution. Again, we have still had less than 10 green flag laps in Stage 3 thus far. Hingo, thanks for tuning in. He's pulling for the 88 of Crafton. They will be going to the choose cone this time, so we'll have 34 laps to go on the restart. Field getting the 1 to go signal. Nope, never mind. They were dropping off the wall a little bit more that time, as if they were going to get the 1 to go. Lights are still on the pace truck. So we'll run at least an additional lap of caution. David Hayes, Bond 1771, thanks for tuning in. Love to see Carson Hocevar win. He is in 9th. He's kind of fluctuated in the top 10 and just beyond that throughout the course of today's race. Hasn't really been in the top 5 at all. But you never know when it comes to super speedway racing. It's tough to really tell who has the fastest truck in today's race. I don't really know that we've seen the fastest truck. It just seems like the track position is more overpowering than anything else. Be that lead truck on the outside lane. Although you could be a sitting duck at the same time. If everybody from second on back hangs you out to dry on the final lap. But the thing is the driver who has led the final lap of Stage 1, or coming to the final lap in Stage 1 and Stage 2, still won the stage. So I'd still like to think that the race leader is where you'd exactly want to be, even when you're coming to the white flag. And they haven't really had to pull off a block to try to win the stage either. They've just kind of stayed on the top. They carried the momentum off turn 4, had great help from behind, and they were able to clear. Looks like there's a piece of debris laying on the front stretch. They are getting the 1 to go signal this time, but there was something laying there. I don't know if it was tape or what it was. I'm hoping it was tape. Jack Wood going to go to the inside lane once again. He was in 4th this time. Surprised he didn't try to go to the outside. Matt Crafton goes to the bottom behind him in row 2. And then the 41 of Bailey Curry goes to the inside of row 3. Friesen going to try the bottom as well. Haley Deegan on the bottom of row 5. Enfinger going to the inside also. John Draper, thanks for tuning in also. Just over 150 people watching. Again, like, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll take you to the finish of this race. 33 laps to go in the restart when they get to the green flag this time by. John Hunter Nemechek will be the controlled truck on the restart. Chase Purdy in second on the top. They're going to try to stay close together, try to make sure that the first 2 trucks on the inside do not beat them. The inside lane has, not only on the restarts, but just overall in this race, has been overpowered by the outside. It's kind of been the story of the day. The track position has been important for the trucks on the outside lane in the restarts. Is there a chance that the bottom lane trucks can work cohesively enough, stay close enough together, that they could keep their energy up to keep up with the outside lane over a long haul? Or will they go back to single file racing again within the first couple laps of this restart, even as we're closer to the finish with just north of 30 laps to go? Field into the Geico restart zone. The green flag is back in the air. Good launch. And again, for the second straight restart, the 51 does not take off very well of Jack Wood on the bottom lane. He had a great push from behind, though, on the back straightaway. This time we'll see if Matt Crafton will be able to push him. First 3 trucks already clear going into turns 1 and 2. Chase Purdy locking bumpers all the way through the corner with John Hunter Nemechek on the outside lane. The 16 is also clear, and immediately backwards go the inside. Only 5 trucks left on the bottom. Make that 6 trucks on the bottom into turns 3 and 4. And the inside lead truck of Jack Wood still on the inside of the 4th place truck on the outside of Matt DiBenedetto, and they're going backwards again on the front stretch. Nemechek easily leads that first lap after the restart. Another surge of momentum into turns 1 and 2 on the bottom lane. The 51 pulling to the inside of the 16. Hailie Deegan not able to keep up with the trucks on the inside as she's losing the top 4. But those 4 trucks are able to really keep up this time around. A lot of speed underneath that 51 Chevrolet, and he's going to pull to the inside of the lead off of turn 4. And I'm curious to know if more trucks will go down to the bottom, seeing the success being made by Jack Wood and Matt Crafton on the bottom lane. Crafton won stage 2, so you have to imagine he's got a pretty strong truck today. And John Hunter Nemechek is door-to-door for the race lead off turn 2. Crafton swings to the middle. He pulls out of line just a little bit on Jack Wood. Now he's going to connect bumpers again as they head into turn 3. No side draft mainly being had there. Wood pulling way out ahead of Crafton. 41 got a push from behind, and he got loose off turn 4. Still getting pushed on the front stretch by Friesen in the 52. Jack Wood lost a couple truck lengths that time to the outside lane on the front stretch and into turns 1 and 2, but he's still on the inside of the 3rd place truck of Tyler Ankrum. Nick Sanchez going to pull to the bottom after that spin he had earlier. He's now trying to fight to get back inside the top 10. Sanchez quickly moves into the outside lane. First chance he got. Crafton going to get shifted off the bottom. He's 3 wide middle going into turns 1 and 2. Friesen maybe going to let him back down onto the inside. One truck bounces off the outside wall off turn 2. Looked like it might have been Carson Hocevar. 4 wide on the backstretch as they all get tangled together. Crafton in the middle lane going backwards. He's got his teammate Ty Majeski underneath him. And Crafton now will get to the outside. Hailie Deegan is now going to move to the top behind Crafton, and Majeski's still stuck on the bottom, and he finally squeezes his way to the outside getting into turn 1. Now just 3 trucks on the bottom lane. It would be Jack Wood, Bailey Curry, and Stuart Friesen. Majeski pulling back down to the bottom again, but now have already fallen to about 8th on back. Top 7 trucks in the outside lane clear with 27 laps to go. Nemechek, Purdy, Ankrum, DiBenedetto, Ben Rhodes in 5th. Zane Smith in 6th, Jack Wood 7th, Bailey Curry 8th, Carson Hocevar 9th, and Stuart Friesen rounds out the top 10 with 27 laps left. Already the longest green flag run of stage 3. We've only gone about 8 laps. Inside, making another surge forward. I think that just goes to show the speed in the 51 because Crafton isn't behind him anymore. It's the 41 for Nice Motorsports, Bailey Curry. That is now the 2nd truck, and they are making headway again on the shortest way around the racetrack. And maybe you could consider that the Tricon Racing 17 truck maybe isn't as strong, that the inside lane is catching up to him, and maybe he's not as strong as those ThorSport trucks that were leading the charge on the outside earlier. Bailey Curry nearly got turned on the front stretch that time by Stuart Friesen in the 52. They somehow didn't lose much momentum, though, going into turns 1 and 2. They only dropped back about maybe 1 position on the bottom. Got pushed right in the center of the front stretch, though, and that knocked the 41 sideways. He hit him pretty square, but obviously too big of a run before the contact in an area of the track where he was probably turning the wheel, and that was almost a disastrous shot going into the corner. Jack Wood powering down to the bottom. Remember, that was the truck Corey Heim won this race in last year in the Truck Series. So even though Heim was the defending winner, he was in the 11 at Tricon Racing for today's race, but it's Jack Wood in the 51 for KBM today. Side by side for the lead. Jack Wood nearly clear going into turn 1. And now he is clear off the exit of turn 2. Chooses to stay on the bottom lane for right now. Will he move to the outside or will he abandon Bailey Curry? Jack Wood still protecting the bottom. The 52 now moves up as he got loose going into turn 3, and he's going to be split 3 wide middle. Jack Wood was able to move to the outside after the bottom started to disconnect behind him. Fr8 got loose going into 3. Trouble at the front. Jack Wood's around. The 23 slides as well on the back straightaway. Everybody misses the spinning race truck of Jack Wood. John Hunter Nemechek got into the back of the 51 truck, spun him out off the exit of turn 2, right after Jack Wood had taken the lead the lap before. And we're under caution now for the 8th time in the race with 21 laps to go. Enfinger went sliding on the backstretch as well, trying to miss. But Nemechek, I mean, he got into the back of Wood. He pushed him in the center of the corner and just kept pushing him, and he turned him around. Or I should say the 19 of Christian Eckes barely missed Jack Wood on the backstretch, going down to the bottom. That was all on Nemechek there. He wasn't even getting pushed from behind. I mean, he just had a run, and he got to the 51, and he stayed on him probably for a good couple seconds, and then the 51 just spun out off the exit of turn 2. Again, the transition from the banking to how flat the back straightaway is, it's the lightest area of the racetrack where the trucks, and we'll see that, I'm sure, in the Xfinity Cup Series this weekend too. That's where they're the lightest. It's where we've already seen a spin earlier without contact. So when you have the contact from behind and a push, when you're up to speed, you definitely know that there's a real good likelihood that you're going to go sideways, and that's exactly what happened to Jack Wood there. It's just a dangerous area to push another truck, let alone if you hit him square or not. It didn't look like he was perfectly square, but it didn't really matter at that area of the track. They're going to be showing that Stuart Friesen fan in the stands. Wow. Very close miss for the 19 of Eckes. Same goes for Grant Enfinger, and he was headed towards that inside wall when he was sliding on the backstretch. Same goes for Jack Wood. Surprised they honestly didn't make contact with the inside wall as well as with each other. Brian Chastain, thanks for tuning in. $163 people watching right now on the stream. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream so far today. I will end that poll, by the way, in the chat. You guys are saying that neither Matt Kraft and Christian Eckes or Zane Smith will win this race. John Hunter Nemechek, currently the race leader, under caution after he had turned the 51 truck of Jack Wood, who initially led the bottom lane up to the front of the field. He was the only truck to lead the inside towards the front of the field all day in today's race. And 98 likes, by the way, so we're just 2 away from our goal of 100. Try to get to that and beyond. "94 votes in that poll also, by the way. Pit road is open this time. Not seen any of the leaders go down. No surprise with how much track position matters. Probably see some trucks at the tail end of the field pit. But nobody in the top half. 28 trucks currently on the lead lap. Jake Garcia in the 35 will get the free pass during the caution. My bad. He is not back on the lead lap, but he does get the free pass. He was 2 laps down, so now Garcia will be just 1 lap down. Had a mechanical issue earlier. He ended up in the stage point area in stage 1. He was 10th, but had to pit that extra time earlier in the race during those cautions. Lost a couple of laps back in stage 2, and he's just trying to get those back with some late yellows right now. It's like Grant Enfinger coming into the pits.
17 wants to make an alliance here. No way. We're going to win this race. I don't want an alliance with that guy. No, I'm just saying until we get to that point.
Interesting.
That guy.
If I'm Chase Purdy, I would stick with that guy till we get down towards the end of the race.
Well, there's no reason not to.
Absolutely.
They're just
During the outside line, it's working well. I mean, even when Jack Wood got in front of him, it was only one truck that got in front of him. Then Nemechek was obviously right behind him. Chase right behind Nemechek again.
You just got to give it up for Bailey Curry in the 3rd position, driving for Al Neese Motorsports. Done a great job.
There he is, right there.
Texas driver.
Well, we talked about Matt Benedetto running top 5. Jamie, what are they saying?
Well, in that last green flag run, Matt DiBenedetto was back behind Tyler Ankrum in the number 16 and was a little frustrated over the radio. He said the reason that Jack Wood was able to build up that lower line and get to the lead of the race was because Tyler Ankrum wasn't staying close enough in the line that he was in. So he's trying to, communicate a little bit. We got to stay bunched up. We've got to work together here if we're going to stay in a line. But certainly once they choose, he's got some things on his mind.
And sometimes your truck's not able.
Take a quick look at the full field running order before we head to this next restart. We'll have right around 15 laps to go when that takes place. John Hunter Nemechek is the leader. Chase Purdy in 2nd. Bailey Curry 3rd. Tyler Ankrum in 4th. Matt DiBenedetto is in 5th. Nick Sanchez 6th. Stuart Friesen 7th. Ben Rhodes 8th. Christian Eck is 9th. And Zane Smith is 10th. Carson Hocevar in 11th. Raja Karut 12th. Ty Majeski 13th. Lawless Allen 14th. Haley Deegan 15th. Brett Holmes in 16th, Timmy Hill 17th, Matt Crafton 18th, Ryan Vargas 19th, and Colby Howard is 20th. Chris Wright in 21st, Daniel Dye 22nd, Akinori Ogata in 23rd, Spencer Boyd 24th, Jack Wood back at 25th now after that spin. Josh Room 26th, Trent Enfinger had to pit there with the flat tire after he was spinning trying to miss Wood, so he's now back to 27th. Tanner Gray in 28th place is the last truck in the lead lap. First and only truck 1 lap down is Jake Garcia in 29th. Lane Riggs 3 laps down after an accident earlier today. He's back at 30th. Mason Massey 31st. Dean Thompson blew a right front earlier today after contact with the wall and the 45 of Lawless Allen. He's 6 laps down in 32nd. Caden Honeycutt 33rd. Had mechanical issues. He's 14 laps down. Corey Heim on back is out of the race. He will end up finishing 34th. Mason Maggio in 35th and Keith McGee 36th. 118 laps in, 17 laps to go out of the 135, which was scheduled for today's race. Have a 250-mile NASCAR Xfinity Series race coming up after this. That coverage will begin at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time later today. We'll have a short break between streams and races, so that will be on a separate stream. 1 to go. Nick Sanchez will be the first truck on the bottom on the restart, and he will have Ben Rhodes and Christian Eckes behind him. Looks like Raja Karut will go down to the bottom as well as Ty Majeski. So there are some stronger cars there. Now, Majeski was inside the top 3 at the end of stage 1. Really, the entire first 2 stages of the race. Had a lot of stage points. He has not had track position since then. Same goes for Ben Rhodes, who is going to be on the inside of row 2. They both pick up 4 to 5 spots by moving down to the bottom for the restart. Haley Deegan, another ThorSport truck, moved down to the bottom. I think Craftsman's the only ThorSport truck that did not go to the inside there. He is back at 18th, though. He lost a lot of track position on that last restart, getting put 3 wide middle initially, and then the inside lane actually was able to pull away, so they started gaining a little more trucks as a result. Crafton lost a lot of positions. I Show Blitz, thanks for tuning in. At the race, well, enjoy it, man. Have fun this weekend. Heading to the restart with 15 laps to go. Will this be the final restart of the day? Will they make it back to the checkered flag? Nemechek, the controlled truck, once again on the restart as he has been through all of stage 3. He'll get the push from Chase Purdy. Nick Sanchez getting a shot from behind as well from Ben Rhodes. Green flag back in the air at Atlanta. The dash for cash is on, and Sanchez, who was a teammate of Jack Wood, who led the inside lane earlier, now going to try to lead the inside this time. He's got 3 trucks single file behind him, and he's going to get the push. He is clear. John Hunter Nemechek for the lead, and the rookie is out in front off of turn 2. And now Nemechek getting a push from behind from Chase Purdy in the 4 as he almost turned the 2 truck going into turn 3, and now more momentum on the bottom to be had, and Ben Rhodes is clear off of turn 4 on Sanchez. Ben Rhodes leads his first lap of the race at the start-finish line. Both him and Nick Sanchez, who were the first 2 trucks in the bottom lane on the restart, will now be the first 2 trucks on the outside a lap and a half into the restart. 1 truck in the wall off turn 2. It was Carson Hocevar. Sanchez going to the bottom, making a dive underneath the 99. Not content with running in second. He's going to have Christian Eckes behind him in the 19. Still door-to-door for the lead off turn 4. Zane Smith drops from the bottom to the top lane now on the racetrack. He's about in row 6 or 7. Further back, just 4 trucks on the bottom, but that is enough to keep them side by side for now. A gap building between Ben Rhodes and John Hunter Nemechek as Nemechek gets a push off turn 2 from Chase Purdy. Leads that push now into the back of the 99 of Ben Rhodes into turn 3. Nick Sanchez is clear for the race lead in the middle of the corner. 3 wide further back. Trouble. Matt Crafton involved as he is in the wall further back in the pack. There were 2 other trucks that were also in the wall in front of him. With 13 laps to go, we have another yellow in stage 3. Couldn't tell exactly who it was. Carson Hocevar also involved in that. He has heavy damage on the back of his race truck. Tire spoiler kind of hanging off the rear of the race truck. A lot of damage on Hocevar. That Nice Motorsports team. There's somebody. He's in the wall on the picture that they're showing here. Contact behind him, and then Matt Crafton kind of piled in after the fact. Looks like Lawless Allen, his teammate. So both Nice Motorsport trucks of Lawless Allen and Carson Hocevar are getting together in turn 3. And Matt Crafton, an innocent bystander in that. I don't think Crafton's really got much damage, but obviously still collected a 3-truck accident, bringing out a caution. They were outside the top 10 at the time. And this will get Jake Garcia back on the lead lap as he has received the last 2 free passes, now going for 2 laps down to the lead lap as we'll have another restart with less than 10 laps to go. Nick Sanchez was in the lead when the caution flag came out, so he'll be the controlled truck on the next restart. Corbin Pennery, thanks for tuning in. Robert Chamberlain, thanks for tuning in. Your pick is Sanchez to win. Is that like a mid-race pick here at the end, or was that your pre-race pick? That's a bold pre-race pick, I will say. Just considering he's a rookie, obviously he's got the equipment to get it done. Started pretty deep in the field in this race too, right around 20th. And he had a spin after not getting going on a restart earlier today. Fortunately, Corey Heim, the truck that hit him, is out of the race. Sanchez still in it. Got hit so square in the back bumper that not like any of the fenders were really flared out on that racetrack, so the speed and aerodynamic dependence of the race truck is still there. Looks like John Hunter Nemechek fell back to 5th place before that caution flag came out after being the leader on the last restart. Finally seeing the inside lane work, at least when the KBM trucks have been the lead trucks on the bottom. We have yet to see the lead truck on the bottom not be a KBM truck and be able to maintain that track position at the front of the field. We saw it from Jack Wood, and now we saw it on this most recent restart from Nick Sanchez. And Sanchez, as a result, is the race leader at the time of the caution. This is our 9th caution of the race total. I guess the next question is, will it be the last? Almost 200 people watching. Again, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. This is becoming very close to the most viewed truck series stream on the channel, so appreciate everybody tuning in. Run the like up, helps the stream out a ton, as well as subscribing. Pushes that algorithm, gets the racing content out to more people, whether they are able or unable to watch the actual race. The Xfinity race will also be on Fox Sports 1 later today for anybody wondering. And again, our coverage will begin at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that. You'll get to hear from your race winner in this race, as well as some of the other top finishers. We're going to keep this post-race a little bit condensed, knowing the Xfinity race is coming up soon. Give myself a little bit of a break here in between streams before we come back at the top of the hour. We have about 40 minutes until then. And we have about 9 laps to go yet in this truck race. They have not yet received the 1 to go signal. I didn't realize there was a fire underneath the hood of Heim's truck when he hit Sanchez earlier. Jack Wood, I want to see where he's at. He's up to 20th, so he only got about 5 spots on that last restart, which is unfortunate. Shout out to Timmy Hill in 14th, by the way, right now. I think he led a lap under caution earlier, too, so there's that going for him. Yeah, he led 2 laps under caution earlier. Again, a win and you are in the playoffs in all 3 series of NASCAR. So, top 3 series of NASCAR with the playoff format. And there are only 16 races total in the regular season, so just 13 after today's race at Atlanta. And this is the last super speedway race of the regular season as well for the truck series. So if you're a team that maybe can't point your way into the playoffs, this is your last chance to potentially get in. There are a lot of young drivers at the front of the field that have never won a truck race as well. Nick Sanchez, Raja Karut, Chase Purdy will all be in the top 6 on this restart. Bailey Curry in 8th has been probably the best performing Nice Motorsport truck today. On speed, he's been inside the top 10 pretty much this whole race. He's contended for the lead a couple different times on the inside. He's been a good push truck on the bottom to both the KBM Chevrolets at the time of Jack Wood and Nick Sanchez, so maybe he's got a strong enough truck if he tries to lead the charge on the inside. And I say that because he'll be back in row 8, or sorry, the 8th place position coming to the choose. And we have seen the top handful of trucks stay on the outside for the restart, but as we get closer to the end, knowing they only have to hold on for a less amount of time, will that bait more trucks to go to the inside if you're 2nd, 3rd, or 4th versus earlier in the race on the prior restarts? And that'll be interesting. Kashimiri Eiko, thanks for tuning in also. Rooting for Caruth, also nice to see Deegan might possibly finish top 10. It's possible. She's 13th currently, and Raja Caruth, great run in 4th. Kind of fluctuated back and forth in the pack as a lot of other drivers have done today at Atlanta, but up there when it matters the most here towards the end, he'll be 4th heading to the choose. Haven't gotten the 1 to go signal yet. We're down to 8 to go, so we're looking at 6 or less laps left on the restart. They will get the 1 to go signal this time. You'd have to imagine Nick Sanchez will elect the outside lane on this restart. He does. Eckes goes to the top also. First truck on the bottom will be Ben Rhodes. Raja Caruth will go to the bottom behind him. More trucks, it seems like, going to the bottom than the top of the trucks that were inside the top 10 initially there. Jack Wood gaining 6 spots to go down to the bottom lane, but he's still outside the top 10. A restart back on the inside of row 7. So again, 6 laps to go coming to this next restart. And that is following the 9th caution of the race. It just transpired in turns 3 and 4 with about 11 laps to go between the 2 Nice Motorsport trucks of Lawless Allen and Carson Hocevar, and the Matt Craftsman also collected in that. 26 trucks on the lead lap as they head into the Geico restart zone, and the pace truck is on to pit road. Sanchez and Rhodes on the front row, Sanchez on the outside, and again Rhodes on the bottom. Green flag back in the air. Massive shot by both trucks from behind on the front row. Fanning out to 3 wide just outside the top 10 at the tail end of the pack. Meanwhile, at the front, still 2 by 2, and a lot of bottlenecking going on with everybody underneath one another simultaneously pushing. Off the exit of the corner, Sanchez is out ahead by about 3 truck lengths. Rhodes got sideways enough, and it shifted 1 truck into the middle. That's Raja Caruth, and he's going to lose a handful of positions. Eckes pulling off the bottom in the middle of turns 3 and 4, maybe just trying to keep the 99 in check on the bottom behind him. John Hunter Nemechek's the 3rd truck on the outside. He's going to get to the back of the 19, who carries into the back of the 2 into turn 1. 5 laps to go at Atlanta. 1.5 mile super speedway. Shot for the playoffs on the line for a lot of these trucks at the front of the field. Ben Rhodes got sideways up turn 2 after a shot from Chase Purdy. He's 3 wide middle now as he battles John Hunter Nemechek, and he gets to the outside in front of the 17, who got hung out to dry now. Caution is out somewhere on the racetrack. I'm not sure what happened, but caution is out as they came to 4 to go. And we're headed to overtime, and it looks like it's Carson Hocevar again bringing out a caution in the late going to this race. Window net is down on Hocevar's race truck, so he will exit stage left. Sanchez again in the lead when the caution flag came out. And we're going to have a 2-lap green-white checker overtime finish. Our first attempt at which coming up next after the Hocevar accident. Not sure exactly what happened to him, but he was slow. Still had a lot of damage on his race truck from the accident before. And that is the 10th caution of the race. Just over 200 people watching. Thanks for everybody tuning in again. Hit the like button on your way out here on these last couple laps. Subscribe for more content. We'll have another live commentary stream for the Xfinity race coming up at the top of the hour at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll do it all over again. And then for the Cup Series tomorrow as well, as we'll go live at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got live commentary streams every weekend right here on the channel for every race that don't go to in person. The plan is still to do live commentary for the Truck and Xfinity race next weekend at COTA. I will be at COTA for the Cup race, so we will not have live commentary on that Sunday, but there will be a race highlight video from the grandstands that day. I have seats in turn 1 for that race. Joey Logano and Daniel Suarez will be in the booth for the Xfinity race on FS1 as well. We did hit our goal of 100 likes on the stream, but be sure to still hit that on the way out. Who knows, maybe we get to 150 in the closing laps of this race. We're at 118 right now. Still 26 trucks on the lead lap. Unlimited attempts at trying to get this race into the end. If the race leader takes the white flag, then the next flag ends the race. If we get a caution before the race leader gets to the start-finish line to get the white flag, then we will try it again. If it's after, the race will be deemed official, and the field will be frozen at the time of the caution. And that will make up the finishing results of today's race. Everybody pitted right at the edge of the pit window. That is worth noting. Shouldn't have to worry about one overtime restart to make it on fuel, but if we start to get into 2 or 3 restarts here in the late going to this race, if it turns into a wreck fest, then I would like to think that these guys are going to be pushing it on fuel at that point, but for right now, they should be okay. So they all pitted with about 54 laps to go, but we've had a lot of caution laps in Stage 3. Again, 10 yellows total in today's race, but 5 separate cautions in this final stage for them to be able to save a bit of fuel. PC Clark, thanks for tuning in. So the top 10 heading to this next restart, which will be the overtime restart. Nick Sanchez is the leader. Christian Eckes in second. Ben Rhodes is third. John Hunter Nemechek at fourth. Chase Purdy is fifth. Bailey Curry sixth. Tyler Ankrum seventh. Matt DiBenedetto eighth. Stuart Friesen ninth. And Zane Smith rounds out the top 10. Sanchez will elect the outside lane in the restart as the field has gotten the 1-to-go signal. The first truck on the bottom will be Christian Eckes. Ben Rhodes went to the inside behind the 19. And then John Hunter Nemechek on the top behind Sanchez. Chase Purdy, Bailey Curry back in row 3, both looking for their first career Truck Series victories as well. Curry running part-time in that 41 truck as well. Not even running for points, so if he wins, he won't be in the playoffs at all. But here we go. Christian Eckes won Stage 1. He hasn't led a lap since he pitted during the Stage 1 break. Led 32 laps to start the race today. Second most laps led. John Hunter Nemechek has led the most so far with 53 laps led, most of which coming in, actually all of which in this final stage. Because he didn't lead a green flag lap until that first lap after the restart. He would have led the caution flag laps when he won the race off of pit road with a 2-tire stop at the end of Stage 2. Pace truck is on pit road. Another time through the Geico restart zone. Bottlenecking on the inside as the green flag is back in the air. But the 2 trucks on the front of both rows are going to get the launch and try to pull away. Chase Purdy sideways, still getting pushed by the 25 of DiBenedetto as they fall backwards again on the inside. Raja Caruth nearly into the outside wall further back as they're 3 wide outside the top 10. 2 by 2, though, are the leaders at the front of the field on the back straightaway. Big block being made now by the 16 of Ankrum as he almost got turned off the front bumper of Chase Purdy. A push now from Christian Eckes as he is going to be clear off turn 4. Ben Rhodes clears Sanchez to the outside as well. White flag is in the air, 1 lap to go. Sanchez pulls back down to the bottom as he crosses over the 99 of Rhodes. Doesn't have a lot of help, and now he does as Nemechek pulls to the bottom behind Sanchez. Side by side for the lead off of turn 2. And Sanchez is going to be clear as he moves to the outside in front of Christian Eckes. Drag race on the back straightaway. Eckes getting a shot. Goes to the outside. Gets loose. 3 wide for the lead. Ben Rhodes is going to try to take it 3 wide. They're wrecking behind. Off of turn 4. Side by side as they come to the checker. Sanchez is loose. He's not going to get it. It's going to be Christian Eckes who wins under caution. Caution flag came out before they got to the checker, but I believe Eckes was the winner. Christian Eckes, I believe, has won this race. And the McAnally Racing Team will head to victory lane for the first time in 2023. Couple of hard hits on that final lap. It turns 3 and 4, and then it looked like Bailey Curry spun coming to the checker as well. Caution flag came out right before they got to the start-finish line. I'm unaware exactly where the yellow flag came out, but it looked like Eckes was pretty well out in front that entire front stretch. On Nick Sanchez, his team is celebrating. Christian Eckes is your race winner. Six playoff points today. A stage win and now a race win, as Eckes will be the second different Truck Series regular to go to victory lane this season, both on super speedways after Zane Smith won at Daytona. And he's the third different winner in the first 3 races total after Kyle Busch won at Vegas 2 weeks ago. Was that Thor Sport Racing last season? A lot of damage on Zane Smith's Ford. Stuart Friesen involved in that last lap crash. Still talking about the, oh, there we go. Yeah, I was going to say, it was probably official. Eckes is the winner, but from positions on back, when we go through the full field finishing order here after this post-race interview from your race winner, Christian Eckes, I can guarantee you that that order is probably going to shake quite a bit as NASCAR tries to sort through the rest of the finishing order of when that caution came out off turn 4. I'm not upset with them throwing the yellow. They should have thrown it right away, though. They didn't throw it till right before the leaders got to the line. They should have thrown it right when that first wreck happened in the middle of turns 3 and 4 in the middle of the pack. But they kind of waited, and then they ended up throwing it as the truck started sliding down the banking in front of the rest of the field. So, I mean, that's my only gripe with the caution coming out, really. I mean, it was the right call. They had to throw a caution, but at the same time, they should have thrown it a lot sooner than they did. Like Bailey Curry was actually able to save his truck after he got hit from behind by Ben Rhodes, and he still ended up... Well, he crossed the line in 4th, but I don't know if he's going to actually finish there. It sounds like they're not going to do a front stretch interview with Christian Eckes, that they will be having the interview in victory lane. I don't know if that's just because of the wreck coming to the checker, or if that's because it's a new tradition, old tradition turned new again. But they will interview him from victory lane, it sounds like. So we'll go through the finishing results, and then when we come back from the break, you'll get to hear from Eckes and the top finishers. Christian Eckes with the win. Margin of victory at the start-finish line was about 0.07 of a second over Nick Sanchez, but again, caution came out before that, so there really is no margin of victory here. But Eckes is your race winner, And the rest of the results after Eckes is completely unofficial. We have no clue the running order at the end here. This is probably going to shake up quite a bit over the next couple hours if you look on NASCAR's website or the NASCAR app. So just kind of have to stay tuned for that later, but we'll still go through it here anyway. So again, your unofficial, I repeat, race results. Christian Eckes is the winner, but second on back is unofficial. Nick Sanchez has scored second as of right now. John Hunter Nemechek third. Bailey Curry fourth. Matt DiBenedetto fifth. Ben Rhodes sixth. Timmy Hill seventh at that position stands. Great run for Timmy Hill today. Chase Purdy was top 10 through most of the final stage as well. He ends up 8th. Matt Crafton got in the second to last wreck. Survives, gets through this one. Potentially a top 10 still as he is in 9th. Jack Wood, after spinning late in the stage as well, after contact from Nemechek while leading, still rallies to potentially get a top 10 and 10th place as well. Ty Majeski scored in 11th. Haley Deegan scored in 12th. Brett Holmes 13th. Ryan Vargas 14th. Chris Wright 15th. Daniel Dye 16th. Akinori Ogata had a wreck earlier. He ended up 17th. Jake Garcia 18th from 2 laps down. Grant Enfinger 19th and Spencer Boyd 20th. Zane Smith 21st scored after getting involved in that last lap crash. Stuart Friesen also involved in that wreck, ended up 22nd. Josh Freedom 23rd. Tanner Gray 24th. Raja Karut 25th. Tyler Rankrum involved in the wreck. He is the last truck in lead lap at 26th. And here is Christian Eckes. We'll go through the rest of the results after this.
I'm telling you over and over of how proud they are of you. You were fist bumping those fans out there to come back from the speed penalty. What thoughts are flooding your brain right now?
There's lots of thoughts for sure. It's been a tough off season, but I'm driving harder than I ever have. I got a lot to prove to the people who know they are. So just really happy. Thanks to Charles, everybody on this team, man. They work so damn hard, and this is what makes it all worth it. And thanks Napa, Chevrolet, everybody. I'm pumped. It's gonna be a really good year.
Second career win for Christian Eckes.
Job well done for Christian Eckes, who led 35 laps today. Some great finishes, career best for some.
It sounds like that's the only interview we're going to get. Of course, the Xfinity coverage coming up very soon, so they're probably trying to hurry this one up after this truck race. Had quite a few cautions, 11 of them to be exact, with the race ending under yellow and, of course, going to overtime as well. The rest of the finishing order that was not on the lead lap, Colby Howard ended up 27th, Lane Riggs 28th, Mason Massey 29th, Dean Thompson 30th, Carson Hosevard 31st, Lawless Allen 32nd, Caden Honeycutt 33rd, Corey Heim 34th, Mason Maggio 35th, and then last place was Keith McGee, rounding out the 36 truck field. 137 laps, 2 laps of overtime today. 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 5 seconds total time in this race. Average race speed of 91.97 miles per hour. And we had, again, 11 cautions in today's race. We had a grand total of 10 different leaders in today's race for 18 lead changes. John Hunter Nemechek led the most laps with 53 laps led today. Your race winner, Christian Eckes, led the second most laps with 35 laps led. And then Matt Crafton led 29 laps as well. Crafton won Stage 2, Eckes won Stage 1. And Eckes again wins the race. So that is all for our coverage of the Fr8 208 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tune in about another 20 to 25 minutes. We'll go live for the Xfinity Series race. Can't wait for that one. If it's as exciting as the finish of this race was, we will have to wait and see. But hopefully we have a good one. And I'll see you guys for it. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Hit the like button on your way out if you haven't done so. And again, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in a very, very short while. And have a good next 20 to 25 minutes before I see you again.